Do, 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 do. My brain's just got to go through a little song, get us all hyped.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully this is working. I'm not sure if anyone else could see. It's not clear if this is streaming or not, but it should be.
I see a little live icon on the corner, so I think we're good.
Yep, right. We're live.
Well, it's live on Defining Disney, and it is to 5 on our YouTube, so that's all that matters to me. So welcome, everyone, to the Marvel Cinematic Universe Roundtable discussion. We're like, what's fun? Geeking out about stuff we love with people who love this stuff more than me. So let's just get right into it, because we had to start a little late for technical issues, because why not? First off, let's start with our introductions with Caroline.
Woo! Hey guys, I'm Caroline Medley Freeman. I am the co-host of the Defining Disney podcast. I am also a former Disney cast member and aspiring screenwriter, among many other things. So I feel that I'm pretty uniquely qualified to talk about Marvel. I started writing an Age of Ultron script before the first Avengers even came out, and I was like 17. So it's been a long time that I've been a big MCU fan. I would have to say my favorite MCU movie is probably Captain America: The Winter Soldier. No shame. It's not an Avengers movie, but it's the best MCU movie in my personal.
It is what it is.
And then I think my favorite MCU character that's not in TV or movies yet is Dazzler. She is an X-Men member. Her powers are basically to take sound and turn it into light. And so she moonlights as a performer throughout the different decades. She does disco, she does punk rock, she does all kinds of different things, and she makes her own light shows because she turns her sound into light.
I kind of need to see that now.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
I'm like, where is it? Disney.
I know. They were going to do a show with her before Disney bought Fox, but it's been since canceled. It was going to be animated and on Hulu. So
that would have been so good.
Sad day, but she will eventually make her way back.
Oh yeah, we know it. Fingers crossed.
Oh, wonderful! Thank you so much. Next, we have Kait Hogan. Woo, that's never.
Hi everyone.
I said your name right. I hope I said your name right.
Yes, you said it perfectly. Well, hi everyone. I'm Kait Hogan. I am the lead entertainment and news writer for Chip & Co, the blog. I gotta say, my favorite Marvel character that has not yet premiered in any films or television, though we already know that we're going to be getting this superhero, I am stoked to see Nova come on board. More than likely, we're probably not going to get until Phase 5. I'm hoping for a cameo in Phase 4. That's a lot of hoping, but I'm so excited to have that happen. My favorite MCU movie, Caroline knows this too, because it's Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I still think that twist of Hydra infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to go down as one of the best twists in the MCU. I'm sure that's up for debate, but not in this house.
We love that.
Oh my, yeah, and the fact that Gary Shandling has a cameo is I can spend 6 hours talking about that man
just
alone.
that alone.
Yeah, I really. Oh yeah. That just blew my mind. Of course, my cat is trying to ruin it. Pal, get out of here. And last but not least, we have the one and only Nat. Woo!
Yay!
For everyone out there, this is Nat's first live stream, so be nice. But so far, you're doing great.
Thank you. It's my first live anything, honestly. I mean, other than being alive. But hello, everybody. I'm Nat. I'm a SCAD alumni and also a former cast member. On top of that, I consider myself a creative. Take with that what you will. I don't know what I will be doing with my life, but it's going to be creative. Let's see. My favorite MCU character that has yet to be on screen has to be Spider-Woman. I love the Spidey family, and I really need Spider-Woman, just when is it coming? Disney, Marvel, please, I need it. And obviously, if Spider-Woman is my fave that hasn't been on MCU, which movie do you think is my favorite? None other than Spider-Man Homecoming, because Tom Holland, everybody.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. He made me realize that this is the Peter Parker I need.
Yeah. They found real life Peter Parker. Like,
I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is him. I was like, thank you. You did it.
a little ridiculous. Like, he's just, I knew that I was old when I watched, was it Homecoming, when they had that moment where him and MJ had like a little rom-com moment. And then I was like, oh, those kids are so adorable. Like, it didn't thrill me. Like, I didn't look at them as like sexual objects. They looked like children to me.
They're children.
It was like watching your kids go to prom. I'm like, oh, they're so cute.
Babies.
Oh, gosh, shout out from the one and only one of my best friends in the world, Bree, my business partner, producer, and one of my besties, Bree. Shout out, Bree. Hey, Bree, we couldn't fit. I'll tell you later, but we couldn't get it to stream on Facebook. But thanks for watching on YouTube.
Yes.
That's all.
Catch it anywhere you can.
I'll get out of here. Obviously, there's just so many things to talk about within the MCU. Besides the fact, like, now, were you all comic book people who like then found the MCU, or my route was like I used to love the X-Men cartoons. A long gap of absolutely nothing, and then I saw Iron Man, and then I was like a 30-year-old nerd for the first time, or 20-something-year-old nerd at that time.
So for me, most of my exposure to comic anything was TV and movies growing up, but also my dad is a big Marvel nerd. He was into X-Men when he was a kid. His nickname around the office when I was growing up was Nightcrawler because he had a knack for disappearing when people were looking for him most and reappearing somewhere completely different. So that's been his nickname for a long time, and Kurt is a particular favorite of his. So I was, very big into the X-Men movies when they first came out. X-Men, the original in 2000, I was a grand total of 7 years old. So I know I'm such a baby, Chris. These two are more baby than me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was not.
It's like,
7.
hi, I just turned 23.
So I didn't watch them when they first came out, but as I was becoming a teenager and kind of getting more into that kind of stuff, that's my dad.
Yes, shout out to Dad.
Your dad knows how to comment on a YouTube or Facebook post on StreamYard.
Yes.
So wow, pretty cool.
He did it. He's retired from computer programming, so he is a techie.
See, all three of us are like, now this makes sense.
Like, that's why she's good at tech.
Yeah.
But as I was kind of getting more and more into comics and watching those movies for the first time, Iron Man came out in 2008, and I became like totally obsessed with it, especially once they did that post-credit scene with Nick Fury referring to a larger universe. And then there was all this news of like, they're going to start making Avengers movies. And I was like, so let's do it. And when they had announced that their full slate of Avengers people was going to be, we had all of the people that we had seen so far. And then we knew that, hey, Steven. We knew that Thor and Captain America were also going to be coming the following year. I guess this is in 2010. My dad and I sat down and we looked at who the roster was and who it was going to be, and we said, okay, so who are they missing for like the OG Avengers? Like, who has to be included eventually? And we said, okay, well, Ant-Man, he's missing. And that led me down the path of Ultron's eventually coming, and so that's how that Age of Ultron screenplay bits and pieces came about. And it's just what I did in my spare time. I was like, okay, this is eventually coming. I'm just gonna send it to Joss Whedon, casual, whatever. I had a lot of confidence as a high schooler.
I mean,
really.
you find the email and you just send it, right? That's how it works.
Right.
It's your business.
So
Just get it on the desk. They'll read it.
Believe it or not always, but once in a while, it does. I've had some luck through Twitter that I'm still like, that wasn't supposed to. Your PR people totally said no to me, but thank you.
Anything to get a response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like, I'm happy that you're a confident high schooler. And also, your dad sounds like the coolest and what I want to be with my daughter when she gets older.
Aw. Yeah.
So shout out Mr. Caroline's dad for being the man.
Kate, what about you?
Oh God, my introduction. So my introduction is probably the animated series.
X-Men?
I wish I could say that I was like super into TV as a kid. My introduction to superheroes in general was probably the original Spider-Man series, but then like the first time I got interested in superheroes, this is a treacherous moment, was Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know that's not a topic for this, but that was when I was like, hey, these guys are cool. Well, what can I learn? And then so shortly after having seen that, and getting the interest in is when Iron Man came out. The films sparked more, but I did read comics a bit with some friends throughout high school and college, more so in college, and especially after I met my husband, because it was one of those things where it wasn't like, oh, I got to impress him or anything. It was, I was showing interest, and he was like, wait, this is something I can show her because she's actually interested. It wasn't like oh, let me read comics and watch these movies because this, this boy does. And it was like, no, it was like, I was just interested. Regardless of his involvement.
All the things.
and I
will show you the world.
Yeah, and I've gotten to the point now where he has to come to me. So it's come full circle. Where he'll be like, hey, what was this? And it's been really fun because it's something we can share and grow in together in our relationship, but it's also something we both have just, loved since our introduction.
That's how my wife and I are with Star Wars. Mandalorian's my first time I'm like a real Star Wars fan, and she's like uber nerd. So like I have to ask her so many questions, and she's like delighted, like, oh, let me tell you everything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh yeah. It's like here, let's go through all the books.
Yeah.
Oh,
He has a book that's like, it's literally every Marvel character ever, and it's just like an encyclopedia of even the smallest appearance. He gifted it to his brother, but we're looking to get another copy. So
did they get into the Netflix TV stuff too?
Oh yeah, like it's everything up until I think 2016.
Oh,
so it's like everything. It's
that
comics, it's television, and it's MCU.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I have to find that book. I got to interview this great stuntman actor for my podcast a few years back, but he was in a lot of the Marvel shows. But if you remember Luke Cage when when he robs Method Man, he's the guy who rips off his face. Really nice guy. And I'm like, damn, I gotta find him. Like, David, you're in this book. I gotta show you. I'm like, yeah. That is so wonderful. Oh, Nat, first off, the best background. No, actually, I think it goes Nat, Kate, Caroline, and me in terms of order of best background.
Thank you. I've decided to, showcase my little.
I see BB-8. I see Spider-Man.
Yes, I decided to just show all of my little interests behind me. And it also leads me perfectly to how I got introduced to the world of superheroes and especially Marvel. My mom was a huge, huge fan of Wonder Woman for the longest time. So my first introduction was purely DC. I knew everything I needed to know at a young age. It was like, these are the basics. Nothing else matters. Wonder Woman's number one. And I was like, all right, Mom. Yes. But then came the Toby Mcguire Spider-Man movies. This is how I got introduced to Marvel entirely. I will literally just die if it weren't for these Marvel movies. If it weren't for Spider-Man in these Marvel movies, I would have not become a Marvel fan. So after that, obviously, I got a little bit more interested in comics. I started more. I noticed that I became more lenient to DC when the DC shows came around.
Yeah, same.
Like legit. My husband and I met and like only interacted because I was wearing a Flash t-shirt in college, and he was like, I like the Flash. Do you want to come hang out? And I was like, yeah.
That sounds like great.
And I will claim till I die that I only married him because he has a Captain America shield that he made himself.
Steven. Can you post a picture of that afterwards? I gotta see that shield.
It's like right here in the background, but I'm not gonna go get it because I swear everything's gonna fall back there.
Yeah, that will happen.
I will post the picture. He had this Captain American shield made, and I was like, oh my god, you're a giant nerd. All right, I like this. And then he showed me his comic book collection. And then I was like, all right, I can stick around for the comic books. So if anyone is a huge Marvel fan, it's him. I'm just kind of associated. and and started getting more involved and started watching a little bit of the Netflix shows with him. But my heart lies with DC, quite honestly. If it weren't for Spidey, I don't think I would be all in with Marvel. Sorry, Disney, sue me. But like Spider-Man, Tom Holland, the reason I'm here.
Shout out Kevin. We love
Kevin, you understand. The love for Spider-Man is real.
Yeah. Speaking of DVC TV shows, just for anyone listening, my daughter's name is Felicity, and that is where we got her name from Arrow.
Yeah.
We're not like, she's not named after the character, but that's where we heard the name that it became Felicity.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have a very similar story with our daughter. I mean, I'm sure all of you are aware of the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
It's not the same spelling, but ours is named Gemma. So, yeah, and it was funny because at first everyone was like, "Is that intentional?" And we're like, "It's a happy coincidence." We're not wrong.
I love that. So one of the first things I would love to ask everyone about is I know the Investors Day has come and went since, but I mean, I don't know about you. Every day it just feels like I'm still like, wait, what? Like I know Caroline said you were watching it while it happened. I watched all the stuff on YouTube like throughout the days, but anything that jumped out that you're excited for or like surprised by? Caroline, you want to start us off?
Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
Caroline, go
yeah.
ahead.
So, and Caitlin and I will probably say this several times during the show. So we frequently will discuss like rumors that come out, especially because like I'm very plugged into like the YouTube rumor mill, and she obviously is very plugged into the press and like Hollywood insiders and trades and stuff. And so we like get together every couple of weeks and go, "Hey, did you hear this? Hey, did you hear this? This is what we think is going to happen." And we like come to a consensus typically on, yes, this is exactly what's happening. We figured out probably back in June or July this year. No, last year.
I was going to say it was earlier.
It was when you came to Orlando for 4th of July. And we figured out in 2019 that an Ironheart series was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we put all the pieces together.
We put the pieces together. We're like,
it has to happen.
So much red string. So much red string.
Since then, we have started writing a pilot, basically, for Ironheart featuring Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
My husband, Steven, in all of his ingenious glory, came up with this idea that there is somewhere, and with the multiverse theory, there is an infinite number of universes with infinitesimally small changes with infinitesimally small changes that make it super, super similar to the current universe at hand.
Mm-hmm.
And his thought was that there is a universe out there somewhere that is exactly like the MCU, except instead of Peter Parker, Tony took Riri Williams under his wing.
Yep.
And when Endgame happened, it was her that he lost to the snap. It was her that came up to him and, Mr. Stark, we did it, as he's dying. And
I don't need to cry over Peter Parker today. I cry every day. Can we not?
So we have this theory that because we know that the multiverse is coming and that Peter's going to do some kind of traveling through it, which we'll get to later, our theory is that he gets to Riri's universe and he helps her kind of process and go through the same thing that he went through in Far From Home in terms of figuring out who he is after Tony. And she would have him to help her through that process. And then, fingers crossed, he would bring her back to his universe, and then we would get both of them in the Young Avengers.
Oh my god, that would be fantastic. I'm excited. I'm like,
that's our storyline for the Ironheart series. Obviously, we don't know if that's what Feige's going to go for, but we started writing this back in like May or June. After Caitlin had an interview with somebody through Chip & Co. who she talked to about sending him some of her work in terms of screenwriting. And so we were like, let's do it. Let's write the thing. And then life happened and my podcast exploded and she moved, and Chip & Co. has also just continued to explode in terms of what she's doing. and her businesses are going great. She can plug those later when we talk about where y'all can find us. And so we haven't gotten a whole lot of it going, but I'm really hoping that we can actually like figure something out and send it to someone. I would imagine that Ironheart's probably still a long ways down the road, but they have cast her. So like I'm pretty excited, and I really hope we can actually like put something together and send it in.
Or worst comes to worst, we can say, hey, you can timestamp these, and this is why you should hire us, because we were already on the same page.
we were already on it before you even announced it.
Yeah.
Or just make it like
a script. Just film it. Let us know. Pay us later.
Do you need a podcast series that we can make for you that's non-canon and just give us all the money?
Man, I think we could handle that.
Nat,
did you want to?
Ironheart overall. That's my long version, but Ironheart overall.
No, I love the long version. You included Peter Parker. You got me.
Hey, look at that.
You said Peter Parker, and I was like, "Whoop! Hello."
This is so great. Oh, so Kate, what about you? Any big things that jumped out of your personal excitement of the investor call that you were surprised by?
Caroline knows this because I literally screamed it to her when I got out of my daytime job and finally got caught up with what was going on. And all I could say was, I called it. Fantastic Four reboot. 100%. Caroline can vouch for this. In 2018 is when I said, I think we're going to get Fantastic Four in Phase 4. And everyone's like, no, they're not going to do that. It's too soon. Like, they've got other stories that they have to do. And I was like, nope. I said, we're going to get either it's going to be in Phase 4 or announced during Phase 4. And I said, because there's no way they're going to be able to continue past Endgame without them. And I really feel like that's true. It's finally been confirmed now with Investors Day. It's been rumored for months now. My hope is that the John Krasinski casting is 100% correct for Reed Richards. Emily Blunt as Sue Storm. I'm here for it. I'm so excited. I know that that's not confirmed yet. I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that is my deepest wish and hope, but I am stoked that we're getting a Fantastic Four.
How crazy would it be if we get the Office revival and him in Fantastic Four? I was just reading about with them going to Peacock. That's sounding like more and more likely.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that if you look at the comics in recent years, Reed is taking on a very similar likeness to John, and I don't think that's debatable. And that's one of the things that makes me so excited about this, because they've been rumored on the major Marvel list for a long time. So to finally see that happen, I'm so excited to see what they can bring to the table.
Hi, Aaron.
Yeah,
Stephen Freeman. That's who you know.
That's my husband. He's saying hi to somebody else who's watching.
Hello, both.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that was so wonderful. So now, what about anything that's jumped out of you from the investors call that you were like, oh my God, I can't wait for?
I mean, anything Spider-Man at this point. But okay, another thing would probably be Miss Marvel, obviously. I mean, come on. We needed something so fresh like Miss Marvel. And I'm so excited. I got, to read the first few comics that got released of it. And I'm just so excited to see what happens with it, like where they actually truly take her. Because she's such a great character that it needs to be, released. We need the representation. And I'm so excited that they decided to announce it.
So the actor too, I love that, because actually, to be truthful, I don't know anything about Miss Marvel, and the fact that it's like a teenager, I think that is like, oh, good, because sometimes younger people need to see them like their age on there, like, oh, cool, in like a decade, my daughter can watch that because she might not like Iron Man or probably ever, because kids always hate what you like.
Just sums that up.
Oh, shout out Chad! What's up, Chad? That's one of our good friends from Turtle Rocket Books, Richard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reed Richards.
Yeah, Peter. John Watts is directing both Spider-Man 3 and Fantastic Four. John Watts has directed all the MCU Spider-Man movies, so it would totally make sense for Peter to cross over into Fantastic Four.
I mean, all it would take is a properly placed internship. Just saying.
What else is Peter gonna do? Go to school? Come on, guys. Peter Parker.
I was the one that surprised me. The one I'm the most curious for is the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so
That
good.
would be, but I'm excited.
That one was like
So I gotta throw this in. Obviously, it's not something they announced, but when he was talking about the Guardians Christmas special, Kevin Feige said, Disney Plus is a place that we can do things that we normally wouldn't have a place for.
Yeah.
I want the Avengers musical special because every single one of those people can sing, all of them, and some of them even have like EPs that they've released, like Jeremy
who?
Renner.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just make the Avengers sing. Period.
Avengers the musical. I need it. I need it in my
As a
life.
musical theater nerd, as a Marvel nerd, we need this. Where is it, Disney?
Right.
You got the funds. Do it.
Do it.
If Joss Whedon didn't turn out to be such an awful person, he could have directed it. Or allegedly awful person. I haven't followed all that stuff.
Just gonna take a sip of that.
I love the Book of Mormon, so we should give it to the South Park guys, and they could do it because.
Well, so Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez are writing the theme songs for WandaVision. They would totally.
What?
Yeah.
The Flaming people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did Book of Mormon as
So
well.
exciting.
I can confirm that one.
So they've announced that they're writing the theme songs for WandaVision. I think each different decade is getting a different theme song. Is the rumor? It's what's been bounced around, and so they released one of the songs on one of the recent clips that they dropped, and it's super fun and it's super 50s, and I'm obsessed.
I feel
I'm
like I
just
will
gonna
never
say-
listen to anything else. I would
gonna
just
say,
listen to that on repeat.
If you thought that Let It Go was an earworm, oh, just wait.
I'm not ready.
I've had one of. I've had a portion stuck in my head for what, since Friday? So 3 days now, going on 3 days strong.
I would love that. That makes me think so much. I love like alternate ideas. I remember I was doing a podcast interview and it turned into us like shooting like fun Marvel ideas. And there's the scene in Spider-Man Homecoming right before he tells MJ he's Spider-Man where they're walking on the bridge. I was like, I want someone to go back and someone needs to make, I don't know if anyone's ever seen Before Sunset with Ethan Hawke, and just make a straight up rom-com. I just want to see those two walking through like Prague on like a first date for 2 hours. No superheroes. I just want someone to make those.
wholesome Peter Parker and MJ hanging
And
out.
Zendaya is just like, come on.
She's wonderful. I love her.
National treasures, both of those two.
I could imagine too. It's like not quite the same thing as like, in the movies where you see like the guy pull out the rain when she's not looking, like with the necklace. Like, yeah, I would absolutely love that. Him almost dropping it and using his webs real quick to get it before it falls off the bridge. Something like that. I'm here for it.
It should word itself.
Chad,
You almost got screenwriting credits for this.
There we go. Yes.
there you
Yeah,
go.
I agree with Chad's comment.
Wow.
Hugh Jackman, where are you at? Love to see it.
Chad, that is
Bring
good.
him back. Make it a Marvel musical. We can do this.
I mean, if
Is
anyone
that supposed to be like Agony from Into the Woods?
Yes!
I'm pretty sure that's what that. Yeah.
I feel like if anyone in the world, you three can pull this off.
Do it.
Just like, let me know. I'll come up with lyrics on the spot. Just make it work.
I will do anything to be a part of this. Please, just let me in. Just let me in your cool clothes.
Can I meet Tom Holland? Thomas, please.
I don't know if I can handle meeting him. It would be too weird because everyone else I would know is an actor. Like I would have that, but for him, I cannot make a separation of him from Spider-Man. Like Robert Downey Jr., anyone else, I'm fine.
Parker, I would see him and call him Peter, and he'd be like, "That's not my name." I'd be like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
I think he is Peter Parker. I'm like, just come on, swing. I won't tell you.
Like, come on.
We know the
Stop lying
accent's fake. It's okay.
So one question I was wondering for everyone too, like, are you with all the stuff that they've announced? Marvel obviously has not been so great, especially for people of color or women in terms of leads. So going into Phase 5, it looks like they're trying to course correct.
Yeah.
So are you happy with some of the changes that we're going to be selling forward? I mean, we've got WandaVision coming on Friday. Oh my, I believe Friday. Yeah, Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I definitely think that they're moving in the right direction. I mean, they're clearly being more conscious, not just to have more female leads and more leads of color, but they're also kind of spreading the wealth. They're not just casting Black leads or just Latinx leads or just Asian leads. They're kind of spreading it, and they're, making sure that there are lots of different characters of many different colors. And I think that seeing that kind of representation on screen is very important, because our world is not one single color.
Mm-hmm.
And while all Black properties like Black Panther are awesome, we also need to realistically depict the US in that the US is a melting pot of many different colors. And so there should be lots of Black actors, lots of Latinx actors, lots of Asian actors, lots of Arab American actors, all in the same show.
Oh, yeah, I thought Spider-Man did the best with that. When they showed Queens, it looked like Queens. I actually saw it in Queens, and the theater looked like his cafeteria. Like, and I grew up in an environment that looked much like that. I was like, yeah, that's what whenever I've been where I grew up or when I've gone to New York, that's what it looks like. Absolutely. And the fact that they added, was it one of the Russo brothers played a homosexual character in Endgame, which I understand with the international market, the fact forever, I was just blown away. And not only for them to do it, but have the Russo brother to take that on. I also have a deep love for those. I'm a huge Community fan, so I just love those men so much. Like, they can do anything.
Stick their name to it and you'll buy it.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, just take my money. But what about you, Kate? What are your thoughts on they're moving forwards with more women and people of color? Both behind the camera too, which I think is really wonderful.
Yeah, I've shared this with a few friends, and I mean, I think that there's always work to be done, but they say, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is to plant one now. I just wish that we didn't have to prove that these stories have been worth telling for years, and we could have been enjoying them with friends and family. Pre-COVID would have been great. But just there's so many fantastic worlds and characters that we could have explored that, it's a shame that it has to feel socially acceptable in order to do that when they've always been there. But I'm loving the spotlight. I'm loving that there's more integration. I can't wait to be able to see more of those things. I mean, getting kind of a culture shock too of, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in a town where there was 5,000 people. And, I didn't have that diverse culture when I grew up. I didn't have it. It just didn't happen. And so to be able to learn about cultures, even though, they might be altered for film when it comes to like costuming, location, and things like that, but it's piqued curiosities that I didn't have before. So it's one of those things where I'm hoping that there are a lot of people in the audience that are also feeling the same way that I am. It's not that we were blind to that it was a thing. It's just we didn't have that exposure.
Of course.
This is a way that we can introduce that to a whole entire audience that has never been able to walk out their door and experience that for themselves. And that's why I really feel like this is a step in the right direction. I just wish we would have started walking sooner.
I couldn't agree with that more. That is wonderful.
Yeah, ditto. 100%. You both got it. Like, what else can you say? Literally just obviously more improvement, but thank you for doing what you're doing,
I do want to slide in a little bit of a discussion about specifically colorism, because while there are more people of color being portrayed on screen, there are lots of them who are very light-skinned, who are, even if they're not white passing, they're still very light-skinned. And in many cultures, that is seen as more desirable. And there's a stigma there that the entertainment industry needs to be involved in breaking. So there is a little bit of I would say a conundrum here, because yes, you want to cast the right actor for the part, but at the same time, you have a responsibility to see all colors on screen, and that includes the darker side of those shades of color. So, Storm, very typically in comics, she's portrayed as very dark-skinned. So they had better cast a dark-skinned Black woman to play that role. There's been a little bit of controversy in terms of their castings for both Miss Marvel and for America Chavez. They are more light-skinned than they are portrayed in the comics. It's obviously hard to match, a real life person to a comic because it is a drawing. You're not going to find, somebody's skin tone that is, this pencil shade. But at the same time, it's something we need to be conscious of moving forward. And I think that, Disney and Marvel do have that responsibility that they need to embrace.
That's an excellent point. I actually had not thought of that. That's a really wonderful point.
Well, and it's a big difference too. In like the casting originally in Iron Man 1, we had Terrence Howard playing Rhodey. The difference between him and Don Cheadle. I mean, there were so many complaints about, oh, well, you should have tried to find someone who looked more like Terrence. It wasn't about that. It's who can bring the character to life and be more realistic while also understanding the demand of the industry and what it's going to mean for you as an actor and being able to step up to that plate. And so I think that would be a great way for people to start looking at it, is that it's not even just about appearances. It's about proper representation.
Yes.
Oh, that is so cool. We're on someone's TV right now. I'm like,
That's pretty sweet.
Even please let me know how I look on a TV. Maybe I'll send my headshots to Disney. Be like, hi. Not anything.
Wait, they're hiring a social media manager for Star Wars.
Hello, Disney, if you're listening, I will do anything. Take me back.
My old neighbor, when I lived in Providence for a long time, he worked for Hasbro before the Force Awakens was coming out, and he was like in charge of doing all the toys. So we spent a year or two harassing him every day, and he's like, "I will be fired so fast if I say anything." So he'd be shoveling snow. Like he lived upstairs in our apartment complex. He's like, he's like telling me stories. It's like someone pulled their phone out once in the wrong building, and they were removed. I can't tell you any. So of course I spent like 2 years just trying to get every little detail. So he knew I don't know how much he knew, but he knew pieces about the Force Awakens before it came out from the toy line. Oh,
yep. So that's why they.
Good. Phew.
Yay!
I was gonna say that's why Baby Yoda, Grogu wound up being one of the biggest secrets ever kept in Star Wars, because they didn't do merchandise and they honored that request. So that is definitely something that would have to keep a tight lip. Yeah,
Baby Yoda with
a hat up here.
Oh, my daughter plays with Grogu or Baby Yoda as it's a baby doll, but it talks. So she like takes off her body, she runs around and sings and dances. Like she treats it like a baby doll, and I'm like, yes,
that's so cute. I love that.
Baby Yoda. Oh, Nat, did you have anything you wanted to add to that as well? What are your thoughts? Well, I know you mentioned Miss Marvel, which I think which is incredible.
Yes, I still think that they're doing good, and they did good with Miss Marvel. They could have done better, and that can be said with many things.
Yeah,
but it has to start somewhere, and we also need to understand. And this is personal because I'm actually Latina. I'm from Puerto Rico. I am the most palest of my family. I don't look it, you will look at me and you would think I was entirely white. So even though, yes, I do agree that we do need more representation, every shade needs to be represented. I do enjoy that I do get represented. I do agree that it's a privilege that I, can be represented so easily. But yeah, Disney, Marvel, all of you, everyone, not even just Marvel and Disney. This is absolutely everyone. The entire entertainment industry needs to hear this. We love what you're doing, but we need more. The world is just so many different kinds of people, and they all deserve to be represented.
Amen. Shout out to our producer, one of our producers, Chris Ball.
Yay!
Buddy. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's a weird thing. We're all like, just like, shut up and take our money. We're like, if we want to give you more money, just take it.
If you get it right, you'll get my money.
And I think it's so important to see this also behind the stuff you don't see, especially behind camera. We need more creative voices. I know it's not Marvel, but even like the movie Soul just came out. I've never seen Black culture depicted so well, but not in a way they're like pointing out and like, look at us, we're great. It was just like, this just happens to be the movie.
Right. It's not tokenism. It's just accurate.
It's the melancholy of life. Like that's the genius behind it. It's literally just life happening. Yeah. And that's what everyone needs, because that's the shared experience. We all go through the human experience.
I'm hoping they build out some more of the people from Captain Marvel too. I think it sounds like they were gonna too. There were some really great characters in that. I mean, I'm so excited for what they're gonna do. Especially after the year we all had last year, there was just nice to have something to have hold on to some hope. Like it was the first time I understood fantasy for them. I'm like, people like it this much, because I needed an hour or 2 hours or just something to look forward to. That experience. Oh, it's so wonderful. So, I mean, like anything, Marvel's not perfect, and that's totally like what is. But what would you say would be the MCU's? Well, what? Oh, this is a good one. This is Caroline wrote this. Caroline wrote a lot of wonderful questions for everyone watching. First off, what is the worst MCU film?
Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
Yes, Thor.
Yeah, same.
Dark World. Sorry.
Even the writer of it, Zach Stenz, is on Twitter all the time, and he craps on it. He's like, "Not my fault."
If you can't laugh at yourself, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman. There's only so much you can do with your script. But yeah, I don't think anyone can really contest that. I mean, I've had people that are trying like, well, why not the Incredible Thor? No, or the Incredible Hulk? Like, no, that's still worse. Or the Dark World's still worse.
It's
like if you weigh them at scale, Thor just.
No, it's just it felt so out of place in the MCU timeline. I mean, one of the things that really took me off is that it lacked key elements that would have made it interesting. And one of the things that I like that Marvel's been doing now is they're not making one-off villains. They're making villains that we are becoming invested in, that we want to either see succeed or see completely in the downfall, but it doesn't need to be in one film. And I feel like there wasn't really, it was used as like a plot device, and that was about it. It's like, oh, where's the guy now? Where's the now? Yes, and it's like it felt like almost no matter like all of the events that happened within that movie, it's like they never happened in the rest of the MCU, except for obviously that iconic scene where they're making fun of what happened with Loki with Matt Damon, who I didn't realize at first was even Matt Damon until I was like the 7th time watching Ragnarok, like, wait a second.
Matt Damon.
I know him. Yeah. So I think that they definitely I definitely think that the film's very. Hi, Mom. I know that they the Thor films were very iconic, each for their own ways. I'm excited to see what Taika Waititi is doing with Thor: Love and Thunder. I think he's been an excellent addition, and I think he revitalized the franchise for sure. But yeah, I think it's going to go down as the bottom of the run for the MCU, and it's going to be like, okay, here's what not to do, and let's move forward.
And honestly, like, if you can't do something with that kind of a cast, like Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Stellan Skarsgård, Eccleston, Tishman Hunsu, like, how do you waste those people? I'm sorry.
Idris Elba. Yeah.
Tishman Hunsu is Korath. That's the wrong movie.
Idris Elba.
Well, yes, Idris Elba is Heimdall. I'm trying to remember who plays Curse. I can't remember. I can't come up with his name.
Remember off the top of my head.
I don't know actor names that well, so don't ask me.
But
your parents seem like the sweetest people.
They're great, and they have been super supportive of all of my creative efforts over the last 6 months or so. So that's been it's been pretty great for me. And that's my husband, who's also
agree with you, Steven. Yep,
agreed.
Yeah, they all can't be winners, right? And that's okay.
You gotta have a couple losers. It's just how it is. That's life. Not everything's gonna stick. So you could just watch the entirety of the MCU and entirely skip, Dark World if you would want.
It doesn't really feel. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like anything's changed.
You could,
and I think that's what makes a movie good or not, is if you can see it changing what's about to happen next, because that's what keeps it mysterious, and that's what keeps it going. That's what makes you sit there at the edge of your seat at the end of the 4th post-credit scene, going, "Oh, the one little detail. What does this mean now? It changes everything." That's the formula, the magic formula at Marvel that's been working.
LOL, babe.
Love it.
So, what would you? This is another one. What would you say is Marvel's biggest missed opportunity thus far in their last? It's been 11 years already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many years.
So personally, for me, I think one of the biggest missed opportunities was, and they touched on it a little bit in Iron Man 2, but Tony's kind of fall, so to speak.
Yeah.
He, in the comics, goes to a very dark place, and for a lot longer than he does in Iron Man 2. And there's a whole arc of him, like, dealing with his alcoholism and his mortality and his PTSD. And I think it may not have translated the best on screen, but I think if anybody could have figured out how to do it, it was RDJ and Jon Favreau. And they didn't go into it enough for me, and I really wish that they would have.
They could have dived deeper for sure. They definitely could have. And I think one of the important things that we're sure to discuss this a little bit later too is that in phase 4, they are tackling mental health issues. I know that's the timing is more perfect because of everything going on right now, but they are purposefully putting it at the forefront. We got Moon Knight coming on. Kevin Feige's confirmed. A major portion of the show is going to be him fighting his demons. There's rumor that in WandaVision, we're touching on this subject. Not going to go into that anymore.
We'll discuss that in the WandaVision section, so spoil it.
I gotta leave some surprises, man. But the thing is that, you know, bringing these topics to the front, 1, makes your characters more relatable. 2, it makes them feel more human, even though they are supposedly, you know, supposed to be these top-notch individuals who have either trained themselves or had the resources to be able to get to where they are, or by supernatural means have been able to get their powers, or even come from different universes and different planets. Nonetheless, it allows people to feel what the characters are feeling and feel as if they've gone on a journey. I'm hoping that it brings awareness to people who don't struggle with mental health issues on how it is they can better help people that they know that do have it, or get a better understanding of what that means for them, because it's so hard to explain to someone who's neurotypical and doesn't have to worry about all those things. And it's going to allow for an open conversation about such topics. And I think that that is so, so important. But again, kind of wish that we had that, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah,
when it would have
barely scratched the surface of it.
Oh, yeah, barely. We barely saw it, and we saw Tony, you know, going reckless, but that's not how everybody with mental health issues deals with things. You know, so I think that it's going to be great that we're going to see multiple perspectives.
I'm really excited for that.
And the same could be said with like Bucky.
Yeah.
So much.
Big time.
And, you know, like, I will admit that I would have loved to be able to see Bucky Cap. I'll say that that's probably a missed opportunity. However, I do know that they wrote him in the MCU in such a way that that's not what he can handle. And I love that. And I feel like we needed to explore more about like Bucky and how he needs to deal with, you know, he went through war and stuff and lost his friends. Just like
his arm.
His arm.
Literally his whole entire being and essence. He literally had been erased. Yeah, he had been erased and replaced.
Exactly. And I feel like we did touch on it. And yes, it was good. If it would have gone deeper, I feel like it would have actually sat with me, and I would have been like, yeah, I don't need Bucky Cap because I love this Bucky and I understand this Bucky fully. You know, but right now I'm like, Bucky Cap, come on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, I haven't gone, but whatever.
My thing with Bucky Cap is that, like, they set it up and they had been dropping Easter eggs since the very first movie, and now he's not taking the shield, and I'm like, why did you do that? Why did you put literally don't give me hope?
I mean,
also, Bucky Nat.
Yeah,
that is true.
The line in Civil War where she goes, "Don't you remember me? Don't you recognize me?" Like,
I need more of that. I need to know why.
Yeah,
clearly
we know why. She was lying, saying that she had only encountered him that one time when he was hunting her. Like, clearly she knows him.
Yes,
and I need to know why, and I need to know from where. And I really hope that that's touched on in Black Widow. I don't have high hopes, just purely based on what I know about the movie and what's been rumored, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think the missed opportunity I can think of, I didn't even think of that until you said Black Widow. I wish she had a movie maybe 10 years ago.
We needed it earlier, but
I know that. Well, I know Scar has said. Sorry, I say it like I know her. Scarlett Johansson has said, you know, that she couldn't play this version of Natasha before. I do know that there are elements that happen that have been said to change our perspective of what has happened since Infinity War, not even Endgame, but Infinity War. And that is going to propel and expose some story elements that are going to be happening in the next couple of phases. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, so I'm going to hold off on sharing that. And I'm so sorry to the audience, because I know everyone wants to hear those things. But I really, truly would love for it to be a surprise, and fingers crossed that I'm right. I will take a picture of it in my handwriting with the date, and I will send it somewhere, and that way I can show in the future, like, hey, I was right. But for now, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But that's been the best thing about being a Marvel fan too, is sitting there and having these theories and thinking, okay, what could be coming next, or what could not be coming next because of what they have set up for, and getting to discuss these scenes with your friends. It's not like it's just like, oh, hey, have you seen this most recent movie? Oh yeah, it was good. Okay, let's move on. We can dive deeper into these stories because there's more to be told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I need all of your help.
That also just leaves the opportunity for more, for more phases and more stuff.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I mean, they talk about I think Kevin said a 22-year plan, and that was just the beginning. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I can't hear you, Caroline. However, I do agree with Thomas.
There we go.
So Ricky Barnes is actually Bucky's granddaughter in a different universe.
Where's she at?
And her whole storyline gets into the universe hopping and the time traveling and things, and Captain America actually becomes her mentor, which is great. So I think she would be really cool to show up, especially for Young Avengers, and that gives Chris a great segue.
Yes, let's segue on to Young Avengers.
Oh, we have another. The Marvel Universe is like the D&D of superheroes. I've never played D&D still, but I feel like I might like it.
Where have you been at?
D&D's
at least now. Come on.
At least 2 DMs in this chat.
Really?
Oh,
yeah. Me and Kate, yeah.
I have 7 binders currently about a foot down to my right that are my homebrewed world. So, yeah.
Cool.
I actually did a practice session for my new campaign just to get my players kind of used to all their new shiny stuff based on WandaVision, and this is Westview.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how big of a nerd that I am.
Meanwhile,
I gelatinous cube. I love it.
Yes, so cute. And also got a dice tray over here, but I'm not pulling everything out. But D&D is part of my life, so
I wish I knew all of you when I was in high school. I would have had so much more fun than not doing fun stuff. I could have been playing D&D. Oh well, that was so much fun. So we can move into our next section of Rumor Roundup. We gotta make some fun songs. You don't want to hear my voice.
I was going to say.
Sound effects.
I was going to say, just real quick for everybody, as a member of the press, there are certain things that I will not be able to comment on because of my insider knowledge and relationship with Disney and Marvel Studios. If there's anything that I can't discuss, I will likely remain silent, or I will concede the floor to my fellow panelists. But I'll be able to share a few things here and there, but be looking out for my full review of WandaVision this Thursday.
Oh my god. So
where can we find that, actually? Because I would like to read that as well.
Yeah, it's going to be on the Chip and Co blog. It should be posting at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And you'll be able to see, I was lucky enough to be able to get to see the first 3 episodes. So I don't know exactly how it all ends. I know. So I don't see how it ends, but I have a good feeling. So,
well,
I know.
I'm excited to tell you my theories and just to analyze your face, and I'll be like,
yeah.
I have a feeling I'm going to be taking a lot of sips.
We're going to overread everything.
I'm telling you right now, I will rewatch this tomorrow, and I'm just going to analyze Kate's face the entire time. I'll be like, okay, so I mentioned this, and she kind of twitched, so I feel like it's going to happen.
And Steven's got
micro expression
on the TV, so he's going to really get a good view. So Steven, you gotta let us know what you think too.
If you think I know something, say so in the comments.
People who have the City of Heroes.
Yes,
so wonderful. So I'm going to jump into our new section called Spoiler Alert. So yeah, I'm going to say Rumor Roundup, not Spoiler Alert.
But we do have a spoiler alert.
But here is the big spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're someone who doesn't enjoy people making rumor roundup, having rumors, none of this is all speculation. Outside, we don't. At least 3 of us have no connections to this stuff outside Kate, and she's gonna not get fired.
So.
No. I like my press pass.
Yeah.
Don't take it away from me.
So if you're watching this live, maybe just mute for a little bit. If you're watching this after the fact, you can skip forward. But gonna guess that no one really minds. But if you do, we'll put a comment when we're ready to come back. So let's jump into our rumor roundup, and we're gonna start with Nat for this one because it feels like Caroline wrote this for you, Nat. So
Maybe.
Into the live-action Spider-Verse, Toby Mcguire and Andrew Garfield are reportedly returning as alternate Peter Parkers. Oh my god! In your opinion, true or false? And how do you feel about that? So, like, what thoughts on Toby and Andrew?
We love Spidey over here. I think it is still a rumor. I do wish, like, wholeheartedly, that Toby Mcguire comes back. I don't need Andrew Garfield, but I need Toby Mcguire. Like, hear me out, Andrew. I love you. Don't get me wrong, baby. You did a good Peter Parker, sure. Amazing Spider-Man, sure. We can accept it. But Toby was the first, and Tom Holland just, like,
he's the best.
Destroyed you. So I need Toby Mcguire back. If anything, I would love to see him back. He's the Spider-Man we all grew up with. You know, like, if you watch the movies ever since then, like, if you got interested in comics in that way, the same way I did, it's just, that would be so cool to see. And I know that, you know, Disney and Sony, you know, doing their own little thing. They might not, but...
Well, they won't, they?
Well, they won't, they? But, like, can I have it? And, like, MJ, can we... Uncle Ben, where you at, Uncle Ben? Can we get an MCU Uncle Ben? Like, I know that they did their best with, like, basically giving the role to Iron Man and / Tony Stark. I understand, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong. But Uncle Ben.
So
we got a tease on the suitcase, and that's about as far as it got.
Come on!
We got the initials on the suitcase in Far From Home, and that's as far as it got.
This hot version of Aunt May. Come on.
Yeah, who do you think
who did it? Who did it? I want to know.
Who do you think would be? Who would you fan cast for Uncle Ben?
Ooh.
So real quick, let me jump in. So if Toby Mcguire and Andrew Garfield aren't coming back as alternate versions of Peter, there's been a rumor that Toby Mcguire is actually playing Uncle Ben.
Oh, I don't know if I can handle that.
I will cry.
Oh, I don't know if I can handle that.
On the screen because...
However, I will say that Sony Latin America social media channels have been really, really bad at keeping this under wraps. There's been a YouTube video that they have. So the video basically says, "Who's your favorite Spider-Man?" and it shows all three of them by name, and it says, coming in 2021, you won't have to choose.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was also a graphic on a Sony Latin America Instagram that was like a cute little Christmas list written in Spanish. And it was like, things I hope Sony brings me for Christmas. A movie for every Spider-Man and one with them together was the #1 thing on the list.
You know.
And these are official verified accounts.
Mm-hmm.
But they also could just be like me and be wild, like, Spidey fans and go, I don't care if this is official, like, sites. I need this to be known. I need everyone to agree with me. If we push it enough, maybe they'll do it.
There's also been shots of Toby Mcguire going to a costumer in LA. He doesn't have anything on his schedule right now that would indicate that he needs a costume fitting. So
Please, my man.
Maybe it's doing Seabiscuit too.
Well, one of the
that's what it is. Like, no.
One of the things Carolyn and I discussed was there are several big names that have been rumored that magically have nothing on their schedule right now, and I'm just like, I understand with, you know, the pandemic and everything, there's a little bit of leeway and everyone's not working on as many projects as they were. But there's also the rumored titles that they could potentially be joining in that are filming right now. So, you know, where's Ryan Reynolds? Where you at right now, buddy? You know, there's people who aren't reported to be on set right now, and it's very interesting to kind of see how Marvel's been able to pull the strings for so long, but now we are paying attention because we gotta know.
Every single move they make, everyone's watching it and, like, analyzing it. Like, their life depends on it. So I mean, hello, me following the entire Spidey story. I'm over here like, give me what I want, Marvel. Come on.
Caroline's like, well, I found this Latin America Twitter stream that's like,
I love find it. So I follow
love
a
it.
particular YouTube channel. Shout out to Everything Always on YouTube. He is fantastic. He does a lot of this rumor roundup kind of stuff. I watch his videos every day on my lunch break. Zero shame. I'm subscribed to him on YouTube, and he is phenomenal. He kind of aggregates all of these rumors and puts them together into videos. He shows people all of the clips that gets released. He goes through Easter eggs and trailers like WandaVision. He is really great at what he does. So him and then New Rockstars also on YouTube are the two like big Marvel Easter eggs and spoiler rumor things that I follow.
Just a quick second. We have one of the best comments of the night from Chad yet again. Cephas got bitten by a radioactive ball. I didn't think I was going to be able to not laugh for another couple seconds. I mean, we have Spider Pig, so like, why not?
Yes.
Spidey Ham? Come on, guys.
John was a great cast for that role.
Oh
my God.
Oh my God, it was so.
Can
it
we
was
have
so
him in the actual
perfect.
MCU?
I was gonna say, if
Yes.
they feel the need to bring Spider-Ham into the live action, which like I can take or leave, but if they do, it has to be John Mulaney, or you can't do it. I won't accept it.
Could you just imagine though? What if they made him Uncle Ben?
John Mulaney, if you're listening to me, John Mulaney, if you're out there, if you're for some reason watching this, hello.
Have you
Please?
have you seen I didn't get to see it, but I saw like the video of Oh Hello, the off-Broadway play he did, like as an old Jewish grandfather, like on the Curl Show. Like he could do an old man
Yeah.
very
He
well.
can do anything.
Oh
And
yeah.
he's a recovery person as well.
He's the right age to have married somebody like Marissa Tomei's age.
Ooh.
I would love that.
Mm.
It would
Yeah,
also just like tie in perfectly on like this is why Peter is the way he is. Like this was his
Oh my
Uncle
God,
Ben.
you're right.
Like come on, you would be like
The comedy. Oh my gosh. Could you
no
imagine? growing up with-
wonder.
Shit, we're onto something here because that would be like
That's
Or
what I'm
even
saying.
how
I'm
jumpy.
over here. Hello, John Mulaney.
Yeah, like how jumpy Peter is. It would make
Yes.
sense that Uncle Ben would have been a bit of a comedian because he's like constantly whoa, 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 and it's like okay, but what the jump scares? There had to have been some, you know.
Tom Holland. Or,
Fan theory. Tom Holland is actually Peter Parker, and John Mulaney's actually Uncle Ben, and he
Yes.
has not gone through the really dark places in life, such as
Never.
dying. But I think this is a reality, and they just like hopped in from the different universe. I don't know what you're talking about.
It-
I don't know who Tom Holland is.
Yeah.
It's Peter Parker. What are you talking
It makes
about?
too much sense. Now this is all I want to see. Like I can't not think about John Mulaney
Yeah, I see it.
because they both have this vaudevillian aspect to them, and Tom
Mhm.
Holland as Peter just has this like he's got such an old soul and like
got
he's such a
something,
goofball. And, oh my God, I want to
Oh,
see
yeah.
John Mulaney.
And
Oh
it's
my
not just the looks, let's admit it. We all know the teenage girls are here for the looks. Tom Holland is attractive.
Very
But
attractive.
it's mostly that he's a giant ass nerd. We love,
Yeah,
we
In real
Mulaney,
life,
love to
yeah.
see it.
Mulaney's a handsome guy.
He, yeah.
Yes, but that's not the only.
10 out of 10, but that's not the question. The question is, why is he the way he is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
John Mulaney. That is
I
the
could see-
answer, and that's my entire rumor roundup for me. Like, that's it.
Right
I'm
there.
done.
well, we know like and Marissa Tomei or Aunt May, she likes the happy in that, so she's got a different. She has a eclectic taste. She likes funny men.
She
likes
likes
a
she likes
bear.
men who can make her
Like-
smile. Come on.
I'm gonna write to John Mulaney on Twitter tonight. The whole time, like, who do I know that knows John Mulaney? I'm like, I bet I can get a message to him. I call Kevin Feige right now. He's like, stop.
Just like
calling
tweet
me.
it out, tweet Earth. Everyone who's watching this live stream, please
We're gonna get that
tweet it out to
notification.
the universe because it needs to happen now. I will not rest until John Mulaney is Uncle Ben now.
It has
We're
to
gonna
happen.
get those notifications on our phones that says from Kevin Feige, stop talking now.
Oh my God, we're all turning
Rebel
into Tom
snipers.
Holland.
I will start crying. I think that's the entire synopsis of this. Anything that involves fighting, I will start crying.
Kate just sipped her cup, so does that mean Kevin Feige is texting her?
Oh,
We
I'm
can't
not
say
gonna-
nothing. We don't know. Oh,
I
rumors.
mean, all I'm gonna say is that he was a part of the press conference. So, mm-hmm.
I've never been in the same state as that man, and you're in press conferences, so clearly this is what happened.
Oh yeah, we're Zoom buddies for sure.
Oh, good question from Stephen Clark. Where would you take Toby on a date? Toby Mcguire or Spider-Man?
Toby Mcguire? Oh my god.
Only if he gets ready like he did in Spider-Man 3.
Wait, the outfit needs to be Spider-Man 3. Don't ask me why. I need that.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say is pizza time.
Right? Pizza. It's obviously pizza or something Italian. We all know it. I feel like he would love that.
I mean, I gotta say,
Toby Mcguire, date me.
I gotta say, if Toby's in Spider-Man form, I mean, those scenes where you see the heroes on the top of like the Empire State Building just chilling, eating pizza, that sounds great to me.
Like, swing me up to the Empire State Building and grab me a slice of pizza.
Let's go to Stark Tower. Let's just go to Stark Tower and just chill. Like,
Yes.
I don't have to tell Tony. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll just go to the balcony.
No one needs to know anything. It's just chill out.
So there's so many other wonderful rumor characters coming into the new Spider-Man. There's a rumored Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane, Alfred Molina coming back as Doc Ock, William Dafoe as Norman Osborn, Thomas Hayden Church Sandman, Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, Jamie Foxx Electro, and Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn. Of course, all rumors. Are there anyone like those all people you want to see come back, or would you want to see some casting roles kind of toying around? Like we've seen enough of these people sometimes.
Can I go first?
Yes. Because I take over all Spidey sections, apparently.
We're all gonna watch. Now, whatever you say, we're gonna analyze as truth.
So I don't know what is true. I know that Kevin Feige is referring to. He doesn't call it Spider-Man 3. He calls it Homecoming 3. Yeah, because there's Homecoming, then Far From Home. So there's an interesting title to be had. But my theory is because Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy has perished in The Amazing Spider-Man. I think she might be coming back as Spider-Gwen, and I'm super hoping that that's where they go with it. That is not confirmed. Marvel has not even hinted at it. That is my hope for the character, because just to see Andrew Garfield's face when he sees her, and like she can do the same kind of thing like in Spider-Verse where she doesn't really reveal her identity right away or anything, doesn't take off the mask, and then having that dramatic moment of, you know, like she knows that's her Peter, but yeah, no.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing is like,
it could be
his secret identity has been revealed, and so he can't really go home, like for fear of his own life and for Aunt May's safety. So I feel like Homeless is a big one. Home Worlds is the other one that's been heavily rumored because it's going to deal with the multiverse theoretically. So for me, I think bringing characters back from both of the franchises is a really smart idea, particularly if they want to build on this like Spider-Verse idea, and if Sony's going to then do more movies on their own, like adjacent to the MCU, but since they're in a different universe, they don't have to partner with Disney. So there's gonna be some of that, I think. But the big choice that confuses me is Kirsten Dunst, because we have a really great MJ in Zendaya, and
yes,
I don't really know what role she would play narratively. Like everybody else, it makes sense. Like you have villains coming back, you have Emma Stone potentially coming back as Spider-Gwen, you have Dane DeHaan like coming in as Harry Osborn, who's a burgeoning villain in his own right, you know. But Kirsten Dunst just kind of confuses me, and I'm not. If any of them are not true, I think that's the one that's not true.
So I just had a thought, and thank Dad for this. If it is Spider-Man Homeless, could he get stranded in an alternate universe and be removed from 616?
That would be crazy.
Yo.
Because if you think about it, that's how it. If that Marvel snipers, don't get me because this is a theory. If it does wind up being Spider-Man Homeless, it could be because he winds up getting stranded and he has no way back, which could also lead into multiverse because then they could be going to look for Peter. I'm just saying.
Potentially.
I'm just saying.
Spider-Man finds new friends. Spider-Man Homie.
I've I've seen some art with this one too, particularly showing. So I saw one today showing the shoes of Peter Parker and Miles Morales.
Mm.
And if they were to introduce Miles, I think that'd be a hilarious title for you.
That'd be,
I don't mind. And honestly, Marvel, if you ever listen to this, literally just bring us anything Spider-Man. We clearly love the guy. Like, we love everyone involved in this. Just
even animated.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
Spider-Verse is my favorite. Spider-Verse, I think, is my favorite movie ever made, to be honest. I've watched it at least 200 times.
Oh, good.
Oh, I remember being like, what movie beat out Disney at the Oscars? And then I watched it and I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Yep.
why.
That's why it won. Because I remember being like, what? Like, and at first I was irate about it, and then I'm looking and I'm just like, nope, having watched it, yes, all the awards just go.
That's actually how Caroline and I met. We had a watch party through See Alive when our Let's Chat podcast turned 7. We did a big watch party, and that's what we did a watch party of Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse, because it's like it's the movie I watch when I'm happy. It's the movie I watch when I'm sad. It's just my favorite.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the technology and everything with doing the animation and everything, it was a callback to the comics, while it was also ushering in a new type of storytelling that we hadn't really got to cross over with before. So it's kind of awesome that was our first introduction to the idea of a multiverse, and then people going, yeah, we could totally see that in the live action, and getting that ball rolling.
I read
Chat's comment right here is everything.
So this is a legitimate rumor that's been going around that Stark Tower / Avengers Tower is not going to be the Baxter Building, particularly because it was shown in the closing sequence of Far From Home when Peter and MJ are swinging through the city. He goes through a mid-level courtyard, the atrium of that building, and it very clearly does not have the big A on it anymore, but it's covered in people. And then they land, and there is a construction sign on the side of the street where that building is, and it says, "We're bringing you the future," and it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
They're really tying it all in.
Devil's in the details.
So exciting to see, Spidey and the Fantastic Four interact. Like, it's just like we were mentioning before. Like, that's just going to be great.
Oh my god, this is making.
It's just getting more excited. I don't know if everyone.
I have to send you guys all these conspiracy theory videos that I've watched, because I've watched so many of them. I can't even
everyone
tell you.
who's watching this is also getting as excited as we are about everything that Marvel has announced and has not announced, is yet to announce, might announce. Like,
and I'm also curious to see what people think are not going to happen, because I'm very, very interested.
I'm excited to read the comments afterwards. Yeah.
Yes, very much, very much. I'm going to be scrolling the rest of the night.
It does seem like there's a lot of setup happening for like a future Young Avengers like film or franchise. I mean, now maybe even Disney Plus. I mean, who do you think will end up on that team? Let's start with Kate on this one, and we can overanalyze you.
For sure, and it's kind of sad that this is the reason why I think Cassie Lang is going to be taking on a bigger role in the MCU. The actress was just recast.
I saw that.
What I found to be a little horrible is that she found out literally the day during Investors Day. She found out when they announced it. They never told her. Yeah, they didn't tell her, and she came out to say that she was heartbroken, but that she does, wish her replacement the best. And she said that they didn't feel like she could live up to that expectation. I definitely think that the rumors about Millie Bobby Brown are going to play into that. I'll get into more of that later. I would love to see Miles Morales. I really have a feeling that if my previous theory isn't accurate, I would love to see Peter step up and take more of an actual leading role under the direction of Carol Danvers. I know that there are people that don't agree with that theory. I think that she would be tough enough to be able to get him to step up. And I think that he needs that. He needs that structure. He needs that discipline. He needs someone to sit there and basically say, hey, shake the BS off. You can handle this. Now go do it. Go be their leader. I think she would be excellent at doing that and getting him introduced. Same kind of thing with Falcon, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to get that as Falcon's going off to his own journeys with Winter Soldier. I would also really, really, really love to see what happens with Morgan Stark.
Yes.
Someone said it.
Just
This
say
is where
cheeseburgers, won't cry. Let's just all have our cheers now.
Yeah,
Cheeseburgers.
I'm gonna have.
I love you 3000.
I've got. I know we love her 3000.
I have it.
Part of my thinking that she's gonna be more of an integral part is that they had originally shot scenes of a teenage Morgan for Endgame that they wound up tossing and not using, and now they're in the deleted scene pile. I feel like that's because they may have already recast the character, but they haven't said anything about her older version. And I actually think that's going to be Millie Bobby Brown. And I'm sure that there are people that are going to argue with me. And I also feel like Millie Bobby Brown would be great for several other roles. But that is where, if I had to lay it down and I had to place a bet, that's where I would go.
I love that.
Oh, thank you so much. Caroline, what are your thoughts?
I gotta throw this out there. Kate freaking Bishop. The Hawkeye series is coming. Haley Steinfeld has been confirmed. We've seen set photos, and the chemistry between her and Jeremy Renner looks fantastic. I'm very excited, and she is canonically a member of the Young Avengers. She's got to be on that team. I also think, so in trailers for WandaVision, we have seen Wanda pregnant. We've also seen twin beds and twin pacifiers being shot up out of said beds. And in a very quick shot in one of the trailers on the refrigerator, there are two initials. One's a B and one's a T, and that's for Billy and Tommy Kaplan. Her children, Wiccan and Speed, they are coming to the MCU. They better freaking be on Young Avengers, because that would just be an absolute waste to have them and not use them.
Agree.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's exciting. That's very
I know. Just a reminder, everyone.
There's also a rumor of I'm not going to come up with his name. Isaiah Bartlett being introduced in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and he is the Black Captain America. And I believe it is his either son or grandson that becomes basically the younger version. I think his name is Patriot, and he also is part of the Young Avengers in the comics, and I would love for him to also be introduced in Falcon and Winter Soldier and join the team.
I feel like we'll get Patriot.
Fingers
Not
crossed.
to be confused with Iron Patriot. But
Iron Patriot, two different guys.
Two different people.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, so thank you for clearing that up. Oh, Nat, what about you?
Oh, I mean, you guys covered most of them. I think the only one that you guys haven't mentioned that I think would be a great addition, not on the hero side, but on the villain side.
Ooh.
Can we get a kid Loki?
Yes.
Yes,
Hello?
I'm here for it.
With the Loki series coming around, I don't know about you, maybe they will hint at it. I think it would be very interesting, and it would give the Young Avengers something else to do other than, also because we need that. Who would they cast?
I still love the.
So there have been casting calls for younger actors for the Loki television show, and it's been all but confirmed that there is also a Lady Loki in the TV show.
There's some pictures on set.
Yeah, there have been pictures on set of someone we believe to be Lady Loki. So
It's Taylor Swift, right?
I wrote about her. You can check it out on Chip and Co.
I firmly believe that we will see Loki
that.
shape-shifting and perhaps even get stuck in a particular form that then allows the Loki character to move forward, but without Tom Hiddleston being necessarily, strapped to the role.
I also have to say, I love the fan theory I saw where Kid Loki is actually Noob Master 69 and is actually taunting Thor and Korg without them knowing that it's Loki. Because they think he's dead.
Amazing. I love that.
I
They shouldn't
really
even
hope it's
say
true.
it.
I really hope it's true.
I feel like if they're going to do it, they shouldn't say it. Like, he shouldn't actively say it, but rather in the
It
background.
just needs to be on the screen.
Like in the background, and the sticker on top of his laptop or something. It just says the user, and you're like,
It just says user login. It's just the pre-saved user login. Yeah.
Oh,
I would love to see that.
I would love that.
I would
That's
love for that to happen.
And Stephen Clark said, I wanted to ask, have you guys seen the reveal of the X-Men Arcade 1-Up on social media? I have not. Is anyone aware of this?
No. No.
No, I have not seen that.
Steven, I would love to discuss this
Interesting.
further because I don't know.
Follow us on Twitter, Steven, and let us know because I don't know. I know.
Put the link in the chat, man. Yeah.
Steve, can you link that for us, man, if you're still watching?
We'll do more investigation
We
later on.
will,
Definitely.
There's so much to talk about, quite honestly. So
that is a great one. So we're gonna move on to our next one. So this Friday we have WandaVision, which, like, outside of Kate, no one knows anything really about it outside of the preview. I mean, the little bits I've watched a lot of new Rockstar videos and Easter egg videos as well about this, trying to figure it out. So I'm just so curious for what everyone's kind of hoping for. Are you going this fully optimistic, just like whatever they want from me, or do you have like a plan of what you'd like to see?
Both.
Caroline,
I want to hear what you two have to say before I say anything on that.
Yeah, Kate, you're
I'm
the
gonna
last
be
one.
looking at you when we review this later.
Honestly, Wanda Maximoff is one of my favorite characters in all of Marvel canon.
Really?
I love her. I love her to bits. I want to cosplay as her one day. And anything that they give me that is Wanda and that does her justice, I will take it and I will love it regardless of what it is. That being said, I feel like I at least have a pretty good handle on the premise of the show, that Wanda is stuck in a pocket reality that she and or someone else keeps shifting from decade to decade, and that's kind of the different things that we've seen with the trailer and the various posters that reflected different decades. And eventually she's going to realize that something's wrong. She's either not in control anymore or she doesn't actually want to be here. And she's going to figure that out and have to figure out how to get out because nobody else trying to get in seems to be able to help her. So I also think we're going to get some flashback moments of like her figuring out her powers. We'll see how much of that we get, but I'm fully expecting like a scene directly pulled from right before the post-credit scene that teased Age of Ultron with her and Pietro having their powers in the cell, like where she like smashes the blocks. Because we see in one of these trailers a shot of her in all gray clothes, scraggly hair, the Mind Stone in front of her encased in blue like it is in Loki's scepter and bursting out into yellow. I think that's a flashback to where she was in Age of Ultron in Sokovia and them experimenting on her, and we're going to see her literally getting her powers.
I know it's weird, but I'm just like, no, I want this to happen.
I know, right? So I think there's going to be several different threads, but it's all really going to tie into Wanda, who she is and why she is who she is. And I think because Disney can finally, talk about her background, I'm hoping we will get the real comic background of, her being a mutant, her being Magneto's daughter, like getting all of that, because Lord help them if they don't, people are going to be mad.
I'd love to hear the M word. I'd love to hear it.
We need it. Hello.
We need to hear the word mutant. We need to hear it.
Yeah.
It needs to be dropped.
Nat, what about you? What do you want from WandaVision?
Well, pretty much kind of similar to Caroline, but not really. In my point of view, just based on what we've seen, I feel like we are going to go in the deepest part of Wanda's mind. Truly, she will be the antagonist the entire time. I think we're going to deal with her mental health and how, everything that happened post Endgame has affected her. I think we will see flashbacks and stuff like that in which not only do we get to see how she came to be, but also how that has affected her mentally. So entirely, I feel like it's just going to be a whole character versus self conflict. I'm very excited to see what they do with it. I think the character Agnes, which we do see a little of, I feel like she's gonna be.
That's Catherine Hahn.
Yeah, Catherine Hahn. Yep.
I think she's gonna be probably Wanda's therapist in trying to get Wanda back to reality. So maybe we will be seeing more of her bending the reality around her and seeing some things such as maybe Evan Peters as Quicksilver, maybe.
I think we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
See, I don't know what she's talking about. But I mean, I'm excited to see what they do. I know that they're going to do great. I'm also very excited with the decades whole scenario because who doesn't love the decade? All like seeing people in like more vintagey clothes. Chef's kiss. I just need it.
Especially like Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. Like they're such wonderful people, and they're such well-dressed people that like
great chemistry too. Great natural chemistry.
God, yes.
They seem like friends in real life. Like whenever you see them in interviews and stuff, like they look like, or they're either great actors, but they look like they're having as much fun as like we are. But I think that, I don't know, it seems very genuine from my outside perspective. Yeah, and I know that at least the first episode, if not more, was filmed in front of a live audience. And the first episode was filmed in front of a live audience. And Paul Bettany talked a little bit about that in his interview with Jimmy Kimmel last week, about how it was like going back to his stage roots, which he hasn't been on stage in over a decade, I think he said. So like it was exciting for him, and it really upped the ante for them to like be in front of a live audience and really getting that reaction immediately rather than watching it back. So Kate, what would you want to see from it? Completely rumored. We're all rumors here, people.
So from a non-press role.
Yeah.
Perspective.
I can confirm one thing, because Paul Bettany himself has gone on record with this. He has said that the show does start off as a sitcom. It starts off as that traditional, classic television. We get the laugh track, we get the live audience, we get the whole, everything not appearing like it should be, but that's also kind of part of the show, but they kind of even just make fun of that.
Happy-go-lucky. That's what we need.
Yeah. I will say, like, Vision has had, I think Paul Bettany was just such a fantastic choice for Vision, because though he was humorous, it was never meant to come across as humor, I believe, for the role. He was playing a literal robot. And for him to be able to have a role in the MCU where he does say things like, you're right, he does like you the least, things like that, or does hate you the most, things like that, where it's been these little quibs, but now he's getting to channel people like Dick Van Dyke and getting to really dive into a character that is still Vision, but it is this, happy, smiling, emotion-filled character that Vision hasn't been yet. So like I said, he shared that it goes from that traditional sitcom, and it evolves and continues to move closer to what we know as the MCU, and that action-packed thriller, I gotta be careful. The stories that get intertwined, it becomes so involved as it evolves. But it's part of that emotional investment into the series. You get to start it a certain way, but man, it's just going to take off. And I can't wait to see what everybody thinks.
I cannot wait to see it. I'm really hoping for some like mental health aspects of it. Like,
for sure.
My professional background is I work in a psychiatric hospital, so that's my world. And like I'm just like from watching it, I was like, oh my god, it looks like this could be a display of schizophrenia. Like the way I have the lines is like everything's trauma and schizophrenia. I'm like they would do such a good job. Like if they don't have to go too heavy on it, but just enough, I think could be really fun.
And I didn't get to go far enough in the series, but one of the things I told Caroline about that I really kind of hope we get to see. I hope we get to see Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. If she is in a facility, I hope he's there too. I hope that's our introduction, and I hope that's how he gets tied into all of this, is that we see Mark Spector either in a similar facility or maybe even getting similar treatment, even if it's Wanda leaving the same facility as he's walking in, or vice versa. Something to that effect where we get that little nod. I would be stoked to see it. Like I said, that is not a confirmation thing. That is something that I hope for. I think that would be a great segue.
The facility that Caitlin's talking about, there's been a specific leak, like almost a year ago at this point, where someone on like Reddit or 4chan or something came out and said, oh, I have this knowledge. This is what's going to happen. Of course, not all of those people are ever accurate, but often with Marvel movies, a lot of them are, and there's a reason they stay anonymous, is so Disney doesn't come after them. But this particular leak said that once we finally get to see like how Wanda got into this pocket reality, she is in some kind of psychiatric facility for people affected by the snap and the blip.
Mhm.
And Darcy is there, and that's how she's kind of involved in the show. And Wanda's receiving treatment from a couple of different doctors, and her therapist in particular taps into this memory that Wanda has of being happy watching old American TV in Sokovia because that was all that they got at their ramshackle apartment. And she has this like very happy memory of sitting in front of the TV with Pietro watching American TV. Like I Love Lucy and Growing Pains and like from throughout the decades. And so that's where this like TV theme ends up stemming from.
I'm telling you guys, it's all inside her mind.
Let me put it this way. I don't think the name WandaVision came from nowhere. And I don't think it's as obvious as some people are thinking.
It definitely has a double entendre. I fully am embracing that.
The only thing that I'll be able to share more about stuff is that pay attention to the dialogue. The devil's in the details. Nothing is there or said that was not strategically placed.
I'm really looking forward to also, they're dropping 2 episodes on Friday instead of the usual one. Mm-hmm. So very exciting. Not something Disney usually does with their originals on Disney Plus. So we're getting a double dose.
And I will tell you, having seen it, that makes way more sense.
All right,
it makes way more sense to introduce it that way.
Watch this and then recap to this exact live stream and go, yeah, Kate was just like playing us. Like, what the heck? Like, because I need that now, and like, maybe.
I'm also heavily awaiting the. That's what you meant.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Is this what you meant? Is this what you meant?
With only seeing the trailer for it, I already can just say that Catherine Hahn is already. I don't even know what the show is going to be about, but Catherine Hahn is always perfectly cast in everything.
I love her.
She's phenomenal. I loved it. I loved her. I loved what she brings to the table. I don't think she's done. I think we're going to see much more of Catherine Hahn to come.
I hope so. I mean, she's now in what? She's in WandaVision. She's the voice of Spider-Verse. And more importantly, she's in Parks and Rec. So what can't she do?
Poncho.
Yeah. I just had like a dream that her and Mahershala Ali are just going to be hanging out on the sled of Blade, just chatting. Like I just assume she's just going to come hang out because she's going to be friends with all like, oh yeah, we're all buds. We're just hanging out. And Mulaney can come by. Well, Mulaney and her probably know each other. They're both comedy people.
Maybe.
There you go.
This personally, I'm just like, I just want to hang out. I just want to have dinner with them. Is that healthy?
Let's just bring the entire MCU together.
Oh, I would pay for that. I love old sitcoms, and they definitely reference Quicksilver. Yeah, Chad, you're totally right.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Maybe she does tap into a different reality, and maybe she does get to learn about mutants, and maybe that's how we get all of that. But we don't know.
I know. Well, 3 of us don't know.
Close. We're so close.
Well, I don't know if Kate knows all of that either. Because
Kate might just be working with us.
She's only seen the first 3, and there's 9 episodes. So.
Kate Feige. Oh my god, it's so fun.
Do we want to go ahead and jump into that discussion, Chris? Do we want to talk about Evan Peters?
Sure. I actually don't know who that is. You all know a lot more than I do.
Okay. So obviously there are lots of different characters already confirmed for the series. Evan Peters has been cast in WandaVision, confirmed. He, for those of you who don't know, played Quicksilver in the Fox version of X-Men. There was this whole period where Days of Future Past was coming out around the same time as Age of Ultron, and both Disney and Fox were using these characters in their different ways. Fox could obviously say mutant because they owned the rights to X-Men. Disney could not. They made Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver because they are part of the Avengers in the comics. They gave them a different origin and couldn't say the word mutant, and they danced around that very well by kind of making their backstory very vague and ambiguous. Evan Peters did a great job as Quicksilver in the Fox X-Men universe. I think he was very well cast for the way that they wanted to portray Quicksilver. The two were very, very different in terms of how they were portrayed.
That was important too.
Yes,
that was very important that they were distinct. Mm-hmm.
So my question is, are we going to see him as Fox Quicksilver coming into the MCU, because this is something that's been rumored for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, is that we're going to get quick cameos of the universes that have been, including the Fox universe, and potentially that's how Deadpool might make his way into the MCU. So if Evan Peters is the Fox Quicksilver, this is kind of our first little sneak peek introduction to that. And it's also going to be just absolutely crazy because this is his sister, but it's not his sister.
Not in this universe.
Not in this universe. But it's going to be crazy if he is. There's also... yeah.
Your parents are the coolest.
Love this.
I don't think my parents even know how to get on YouTube. I'm just teasing. They're pretty cool.
But there's also the possibility that he could be somebody entirely different. I mean, we don't even know who the villain is in this TV show yet.
He could be anybody.
Oh my goodness. What
are your theories, Caroline?
Yeah, let's hear them.
My theory is that he 100% is my dad is correct. My theory is that we're gonna get both of them. Aaron Taylor Johnson hasn't been spotted. He was rumored for a little bit, but he hasn't been confirmed or anything. Mm-hmm. If they put him on set, it was very quickly and very quietly because people see that stuff all the time and take pictures, etc. So like it would be a big secret that Marvel would be pulling off if Aaron Taylor Johnson were on screen. But I think we are going to get both of them.
I told Caroline a theory a little bit ago of I have a feeling we are going to get both, but I feel like Evan's Quicksilver is not going to be exposing himself as an alternate Quicksilver. Mm-hmm. I think it's either going to be accidental how she finds out, but I feel like he's going to wind up befriending Wanda and trying to be more helpful. And also she could be a key for getting him back if he accidentally, like one of the things that I said, I don't think it'll be quite as an impact as like Flashpoint in DC, but something similar to that effect of him going so quickly that he winds up tumbling into another universe by accident because of crossing paths with someone who might also be traveling. And I feel like he will find out that she's his key to get back because he'll hear about this pocket dimension. And, he'll be like, hey, that's how I do it. That's how I can go on. So I think that it's going to be both a healing factor for Wanda if she finds out, or at least finds a way to deal with it. But that's also a way that we can just at least get that nice sneak little introduction into the characters that were in X-Men while honoring what they have done and what they have brought to Marvel, total, but maybe not completely integrating them yet. So that's my theory. That's not confirmed. That was not confirmed in the series. That is where I feel like it might be going.
She's like, no, it's not. She hasn't gotten that far.
I have not gotten that far. I don't know anything past episode 3. So if I happen to say something that's right, 1, Marvel, hire me. 2, it's complete coincidence. I promise.
Yeah, you guys covered honestly everything that I could have probably said.
Oh,
do I want it? Yes. Do I want Evan Peters as Quicksilver? Absolutely. Will we see it? It's up to Marvel to decide.
Yeah.
It's up to hello.
I can get used to this because I was like Mandalorian was like my Friday night routine, and now that season 2 is over. Now we have WandaVision. I could get, especially post COVID. I'm excited for a world where we'll be having like a movie and then a TV show of like either Star Wars or Marvel. I'm just like, I just plan on just being in Disney Plus world and Marvel for the rest of my life.
Always.
I've got my next priority, so I'm like, send me to the movie theaters. I want to go immediately. I know we have to wait, and I'm okay for that, but I just can't wait. And a little tip for anyone out there, what my wife and I have done with some of our really close friends that we can't see in person for safety reasons, obviously, we actually watch Mandalorian together. We literally just hop on FaceTime, we talk, watch it after, and it is. Especially now, like there's a lot of isolations. I work in mental health, so I'll spare everyone the details. Isolation's really bad, and there's something that this is. It's so much more. This stuff brings people together, and it's just. I always say this to my clients: like, you can still be happy during a pandemic. Happiness is not based off the world events, and And this stuff just brings me so much joy. Like this panel is just like, it makes your heart just so full. This is tons and tons of fun. So we actually are going to jump to our last section. We had a couple more games, but I think I alluded to it earlier. I had just recently got diagnosed with Lyme disease, which I'm pretty sure I've had for like 2 years. So we're going to skip over a couple of them because I'm like, I'm going to fall asleep soon, unfortunately, or else I'd be here for like 9 hours because I don't.
A whole 9-hour stream of just Marvel.
If you need to bow out, like we can.
Oh yeah, it's all yours.
Are you sure? Like I want you to stay for as long as you want to, but I also don't want you to.
I was gonna say, if you just want to pop some popcorn and just
listen,
and just enjoy the disaster zone that's about to go down.
That's a good idea.
Because with the next segment, I'm gonna have some difficulty.
Oh, we're gonna have some We're gonna have some rabbit trails.
You know, I love that. That's such. I mean, I do want to hang out, but I think that would be really fun because you put in so much work into it. I will gladly hand over the reins, and then what a great idea! I love that. I love how up for anything you all are.
Well, you gotta be. This is show business.
This guy's like, oh, I don't want this to stop. So I'm gonna watch you from afar. I'm gonna take myself off the screen, and Caroline, this is your turn now.
All right.
Yes, Caroline.
Sorry, I wish I could stay for longer.
It's all right.
This
No
has been
better,
so much
Chris.
fun. I'm gonna hop back on before it ends, so I'll be watching this for a little bit.
Okay.
All
right.
All right. So
Just us girls.
We're gonna do a little game that I like to call casting call. There's gonna be 3 different rounds. It's gonna be a little bit rapid fire, so we're gonna try and keep our comments short and not crazy super tangenty, because clearly that's a challenge.
I mean, that'll be great considering I don't really know actors' names. I only have a couple that are stuck in my head. Tom Holland. I'm talking about you.
So our first round of casting call is going to be called True or False. There are there are several different roles that have had actors kind of very specifically pinned to them, either by the fandom or by rumors, etc. And we are all going to say whether we think that this casting is true or false. So I'm going to share my screen.
I'm waiting for the giant screen to just block us all.
Fabulous. So I'm going to now put this. Chris, you have to add it to the screen, I think.
It feels like we're in show business, quite honestly. Casting director.
If anybody wondered, this is exactly how it actually goes. There's always that and then this happens. Who missed their cue? There's always someone. There's always somewhere it's like cricket, cricket, cricket. And then the repeating of the line. yeah. That's how showbiz goes.
This is
right. Chris might have stepped away for a second. So these people should be pretty recognizable for everybody.
You should know based on name. If not, you can easily Google.
Yes.
Come on, everybody.
Number 1, John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. True or false? Kate?
True. I hope it's true.
Nat?
False.
Whoa. I think it's true.
I don't know why. I'm like, I love you, Krasinski. Don't get me wrong, but I can't. I just can't see him. I just can't. My brain just won't compute it.
Watch check Ryan. Your opinion will change.
I've heard so many great things about it, but I don't know. If it comes to be, it would be amazing, but I think it's false.
All right. Number 2, his wife Emily Blunt as the Invisible Woman. Kate?
True. I'm all for it.
Matt, do you think that one's false too?
I have to put them both together. I just can't.
Fair.
I can't do it, so I'm gonna have to say false.
And I'm also going to say true. Marvel has been after Emily Blunt for a long time, since even before I think she was even married to Krasinski. She was their original choice for Black Widow. So I think that this is finally their chance to get her in.
Yep.
Honestly, agreed. Marvel, prove me wrong. Do it.
It's a dare.
It'd be great. It would feel great for Marvel to prove me wrong today.
Number 3, Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. Kate?
I'm going to say true. Cinematographer this week shared the news, and I'm going to stick to that because that doesn't sound like something that they would have just said out of nowhere.
Nat?
I'm with you, Kate. That words. Confirm it, basically, so I will say true, and I'm very excited to see it. So
yeah, I'm gonna agree with that one. There's it's not officially true until Marvel comes out and says it. And Feige specifically did not say it at Investors Day. He only talked about the director. So I'm very interested to see why, if that was already a done deal, why he didn't want to say so.
Because people want to be surprised, okay? That's why we're doing.
Remember my comment earlier about how I hope he appears in WandaVision?
If that's it's gonna be.
I think that might be why he didn't say anything, is because if we're gonna see an introduction that quickly, that's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. It's a good surprise to see. So
it's like the Baby Yoda surprise. You're not expecting it. That's why it's so good.
All right, number 4, Keanu Reeves as Ghost Rider. Kate?
I'm gonna go false. I know he's on the major Marvel list. I don't think he'd be a good fit for Ghost Rider. I feel like there's a better role out there for him.
Nat?
I agree with the false. I just can't. I can't see it. If I can't see it, I won't say it's true.
I'm also gonna go false, not because I can't see it, but A, I agree there's a better role out there for him, and B, I'm still butthurt that we're not getting the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider series. I'm a big fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That has been my show for the longest time. And while the Ghost Rider arc was not the show's brightest moment, he was a great Robbie Reyes.
He did fantastic as Robbie. I don't think there's any doubt in that.
Gabriel Luna deserves his show, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
And next up is Jason Momoa as Craven the Hunter, a rumored villain for Spider-Man 3.
I'm gonna go false. I can see why people think that. But again, if there's a role for Jason, I don't think that's it. But I can see why people would think that would be a good fit for him.
Nat?
That's me, the common Joe. Yes, I think it's true. I look at him and go, yes, just do it. Just do it. Why not? Or at least try it out.
I'm gonna go with false, and not because I think there's a better role, because I think Craven would be the perfect role for him. I think he's too busy. I don't think DC is giving up on Aquaman anytime soon, and I don't think he'd be able to split his time.
That can be said with a lot of the great actors that we've got on the list. So
that's fair. And last but not least, for true or false, we have Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen. Okay.
I don't even think I need to say my answer. I wholeheartedly wish my wish that it is true and that we are going to get Emma as Spider-Gwen.
Yes. Hello. Emma Stone, if you ever look at this, I feel like I'm just calling every Marvel actor over here, such actor in general. I'm like, hello, please. But Emma Stone, she's going to be doing Cruella de Vil, and I think that's great. And I think that's where Disney's going to tie her and really keep her in the rest of her stuff. So if they do bring her back, I really do hope that it is because of Spider-Gwen. So,
ditto. Alrighty, round number 2 is going to be called Who Would You Cast? And we have picked a couple of different roles that are heavily, heavily rumored to be joining the MCU very, very soon. And each of us has kind of picked somebody that we think would be a good fit. So we're going to start with Miles Morales. And I'm going to start here because I know the two of you agree. I'm going to start with my pick is Miles Brown. He was from Blackish. I believe that show's still airing. At least it would be if the pandemic weren't a thing.
I think they've still been filming. Mm-hmm.
So he is one of the stars on Blackish. He also was on Dancing with the Stars Juniors and made the finals. So he is already a Disney kid. He's also been campaigning on social media, Miles for Miles Morales.
He
has a hashtag, and it's been going strong for like 2 years. He cosplays and takes pictures as Miles. I really wish I could share my screen with you guys right now because there's a great picture here of him sitting on his, porch roof with the Miles suit underneath a hoodie and khakis. And I'm like, I'm sold. Let's do it. And he's also the right age for Miles, which I think is also very important.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think he would be very interesting. I apologize for my dog, by the way. Sorry.
Hey, there we go. Nice.
Y'all's pick. Nat, you want to talk about him?
What can I say? The style, the vibes are there. He's done really good in like Stranger Things, and I feel like he can be given more, and this would be such a great thing for his career. I just also like put him next to Donald Glover, and just tell me that cannot be the best. Like that's the best way to like really tie him in there.
Which is great because Glover was already Aaron in Homecoming for that brief moment where he called Miles to come help him. So that you can definitely see the relation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I differed. So
I also made another choice.
Yes. So
look at this. Hello.
Caleb was one of my choices, but I think if we're going the tried and true Disney star, I don't think you can go with anyone else but Jordan Fisher. He has proven himself on Broadway. He has proven himself on the stage in movies. He's got the athleticism. He has the Disney love. I mean, he hosts almost every special that they have nowadays, and he's been doing music and movies and television. And I really feel like it would be a waste, especially having all these different people that he's already worked with starting to get integrated into the MCU. It'd be a waste not to tap his talent. I think he's a little old for Miles, admittedly, even though he's not actually in real life, but I think he's a little on the older side if we're looking to invest into a story. So I think Caleb would be better for the age, but I feel like this could be a chance for Jordan because I think that he could also be representative of a more, Latino and African American rather than Caleb would be mostly the African American side of things. But I feel like Jordan could tie that in very, very well.
And that's another thing I like. That's another thing I like about Miles Brown is because he is also Afro-Latino.
Yes. So I think that would be might be a better representation of. No worries, but I was just saying, like, I think that'd be a better representation for what we might be looking for and being able to do both. But I think that Caleb would look more like how we would want to picture Miles.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. The picture I wanted to show y'all of Miles Brown.
Look at him go!
That's from his own Twitter. That's not, edited or anything. That's
awesome.
A picture he took at his own house on his own Twitter.
That's fantastic.
He's like, this is it. This is who I belong to be. I think, you know what would be awesome, guys? All three. Come on. Why not?
I mean, we're getting 3 Peter Parkers. Why not get 3 Mileses?
Exactly.
We got Peter B. Parker. We got
3 Peter Parkers. Give me 3 Miles. Do it.
There you go.
Why not? And also, it's a great way of showing him aging up and still having given the chance to these amazing actors. So,
all right. Moving on to our next role, we have Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman. Now, I'm again going to go first here. Olivia Wilde is rumored to be directing a Spider-Verse film led by a female character for Sony sometime in the next couple of years. It's heavily rumored that it is Spider-Woman, and I think she would be a great fit to play the title character. She can star and direct. That's just how awesome she is. I think that's my answer there.
That's all you gotta say.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, come on. That's basically just, Spider-Woman in a nutshell. She can do everything. So
she can do everything. Now, Caleb had some interesting picks that I wanted to let her talk about.
Yes. So I feel like Alison Brie would be good physicality wise. I think that she would be a good almost like direct from comic translation. But I would love to see, honestly, I'd love to see Elizabeth Banks in more of an action role in this. And I think she could bring that attitude and fierceness that would be needed because she is such a strong character. But there are those softer sides of her that are vulnerable. And I think that Elizabeth could bring that over emotionally as well. I think that Isla would be. I think that she would be if you were to make like a Halloween costume version, she's who you'd put in the suit with the hair. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if you're looking for purely for aesthetics, I feel like Isla would be fantastic. I still think she could bring that emotional side of it. I haven't seen her in enough action to really get an idea of that, but this could be her chance, and that's why I put her on the list.
Now You See Me is a little bit, but I agree. I would want to see more. And then Nat.
I mean, Alicia Vikander. We all picked beautiful women. Let me be honest. But Alicia did prove herself with Tomb Raider. Like, this woman in action, chef's kiss. And come on, who wouldn't want to see her in a Spidey suit? I want to see her in a Spidey suit. Just hand it over, Marvel. We know the truth.
All right. Next up, we have Professor X. And this, again, is my pick first. I'm going to shout out Boss Logic here. He is an awesome artist who has done some official Marvel work, but he's also done a whole lot of fan art. Check out his Instagram. He's amazing. This is one of his. I've also got several others of his in here. This is Mark Strong as Professor X, and this is actually a pick I stole from my father. He is a fantastic choice, I think. I'm shocked he's not in the MCU yet. Some people might notice that he looks familiar. He was Merlin in the Kingsman series. So he's already got that comic experience, and he can really play a cerebral type, and so I think he's perfect for Professor X.
He's saying "Take Me Home" and made grown men cry. I think he can handle what the role would have to dish out. I heavily agree with this, even though it's not on my list.
Next up, we have Kate's pick.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. It's about time we add Liam Neeson to this role, because yes, we had him as Ra's al Ghul in Batman, and he's been in I mean, name a franchise he hasn't been a part of. You know, he's been in it, but I feel like if I think he'd be a good follow-up to Patrick Stewart. I think he could withhold the idea of what Charles is supposed to look like and act like and be like. He's got the accent. He's got everything that you would need. He's got that. He's played so many wisdom-based characters. I think he's just a natural fit for the role. I'd love to see him be able to come in here and play a hero. Because there's so many times where you feel like he's going to be, and then it's just like, no, like, Aslan doesn't count, but like, and he's done action with Taken, the Taken franchise, really. Mm-hmm. I just think he would be an excellent addition to the cast. I think he'd be a natural fit.
And then Nat's pick is also one that people have been doing some fan art of. Giancarlo Esposito. He is a big buzz around the MCU right now, and people have fan cast him in several different roles, and I think I like this one the best for him.
He needs to be on it at this point, and the reason I picked him is because I really need him in a non-villain role. Like,
he's so good at it, though. He's so good at being bad.
But that's the thing. Now it just comes easy, and I want to give this man a challenge. Your challenge? Give me Professor X. Do it.
Everyone's going to expect him to be Magneto, but it'd be great to see him flip the role.
That's the twist in your head.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I'm here for it.
All right. Next up is Magneto, and this is, again, my pick first. This is... Hang on. No, it's not. This is Nat's pick. This is Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons.
Interesting.
Just look at the man and think about it. Just think about it. Wouldn't he go great, like, in contrast with Giancarlo Esposito's, like, just acting ability? Like, it's just, I would see them both in the screen and just be like, yes, this is what I needed.
I feel like they could have the same kind of give and take chemistry that you get from Stewart and McKellen.
Yes, and especially in such two iconic roles. Mm-hmm.
Totally need that in these type of roles, and I feel like they could do it. Wouldn't that be amazing? Come on, guys.
I can see him wearing the helmet for sure.
Oh yeah.
Next up is Kate's pick. A little bit younger.
Fan art
So-
over here.
This
Yeah,
is my first. Oh, go ahead.
he's also been one that is a pretty popular pick online.
So Nikolai, I gotta say, this is my first Game of Thrones tie-in, and I'm honestly surprised. So I feel like Nikolai would be. He has that way. If he's had to play a character who held such honor, and I think the thing is I would love to actually see him in a role that is trying more emotionally and isn't as manipulated as much as now he has become the person in charge. He's the one calling the shots, and he's the one who has the power to change everything. And it's going to come down to if he can step up or not. We didn't get that in Game of Thrones, so I want it in Marvel.
And then my pick is actually Ralph Fiennes. I wish I could blow this up a little bit.
That's
But
all right. I can see
If
it.
you can't see the picture, everyone who's watching the live stream, if you can't
Just
see
move
it,
closer to the screen.
move closer to the screen or
use your
excellent
Google.
option, Google him.
So
Got the
Ralph,
ability, guys. Let's do it.
Ralph Fiennes, for those of you who don't know, also played Voldemort. So we know he plays a great villain.
Mhm.
I can 100% see him putting on the helmet. I think he and Mark Strong would have a really, really great chemistry, and they almost feel like two halves of the same coin.
Interesting.
All
I
right.
can see it. Let's do it.
Can I throw something out there real quick? We didn't
Uh-huh.
really get to talk about it. Now that I'm thinking about it, we don't know who Richard E. Grant is playing. I might add him to my Magneto list because he's
All
popping up in
right.
Loki.
Yeah.
So
He is
he's
in
popping up in Loki, and Kane the Conqueror was my top vote, and that's obviously not
That's
not
out of
happening
the,
now.
out of the question.
That's
No.
out of the
Well,
question. So
not
maybe.
necessarily. Not necessarily, because Kang the Conqueror appears in many different forms across the timelines.
That's also fair. But yeah, but I had a feeling that it might have been Kane, and then they announced the casting for Kane, and I was like, oh nope, I'm wrong. But you know what? I might throw him into the Magneto pile too.
That
Richard
would
E.
be-
Grant.
All
I
right,
love
moving
it.
on, we
Solid.
have Storm, and this is Kate's pick first.
Yes, Deborah. So she has. Okay, so here's the thing. I know people are gonna at me because she's in Luke Cage. She plays Candace. I got that. Great. There has been talk about Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and so on and so forth, potentially being brought into the MCU via She-Hulk. I'm here for it. I actually think that would be a great segue. One, because all it would take is Jennifer meeting Matt in work, literally, and that's all it would take to tie those in. Plus, then that ties the Defenders to the Avengers and gets other juices going. Despite that, I think that Deborah would be a better fit forward. I think that she has the acting chops and capabilities. I feel like it would have to be someone who can further prove that they're ready for a bigger step in their career. And I think that this could be it for her.
Definitely, I feel that.
I'm excited to see what happens.
So this is Nat's pick, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Janelle Monáe later, but
I mean, Janelle Monáe, like, don't get me wrong. Halle Berry, love you. Mwah, fantastic. But I mean, I think Janelle Monáe can do it. I think she can take what Halle Berry gave us and just like ump it up, make it her own, and just, I mean, look how she looks. People want it.
people do want it. She's all over the fan art.
Oh yeah, she is
Like,
a big top choice.
say no because everyone wants it.
And then my pick is actually Asia Naomi King. She is in How to Get Away with Murder. If y'all have not seen it, you should, because it is an excellent show. And the entire cast just has the acting chops. And I would love to see her make the transition to big screen with
Love
Storm.
it.
Maybe
I'm for it. I feel like she's that right age too. If we're going for the more accurate timeline of Storm and T'Challa being, I know, you know.
So there's several different ways that they can go with who Black Panther will be and still have Storm and Black Panther get married. I think it would be amazing if we made Shuri canonically LGBTQ, and if she married a woman, that would be fabulous. I also
there are
think
definitely ways to make it happen. Yeah, for
there's
sure.
there's also the rumor going around that AU Killmonger is going to come back from a universe where he actually ascended the throne and grew up in Wakanda, and his father did right by him, and that he would come in and then become the Black Panther in the MCU universe. And so that would get us Michael B. Jordan back, and she is the right age to be married to Michael B. Jordan's character. And
anyone would be like lucky to marry Michael B.
I
Jordan.
and I feel like they both are able to they are both able to adapt so well, but I really feel like these are the kind of people where you'd see at a party and everyone else would be kind of watching to see if they actually run into each other and how naturally they begin to speak. Because I feel like they would be a good pairing.
Natural chemistry.
Yeah, just that
like,
natural chemistry of like, hey, you know what? We're gonna throw these guys at a dinner party and see if they happen to start talking, and then if they do start talking, let's see how that goes. Yeah. I feel like they would pair well together. I think you could see them being together, and I think that that's a big important thing. But you know, it's one of those things where there's so many opportunities that are going to be opening up that I would love to be able to see it. And again, you know, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. I'm so sorry to his family and his friends, and to his fans. Nobody saw it coming. You know, we wish you all the best, and we're gonna miss T'Challa horribly. You know, and there's got to be a way to give hope back and to have people feel just as good as they did when Black Panther first premiered. The world was a happier place for that whole week following the premiere. There were people that were open to conversation. There were people who were literally in tears, crying in theaters because they finally felt a connection. And I feel like you have to have a strong cast that's going to come back up and follow up with that. So I think that it's really important, whoever they cast, and especially if we're starting to bring the X-Men and everything into the MCU, still honoring that while being able to say, okay, but now here's our future.
Definitely. All right, moving on, this is our last one for this round, Dr. Doom, and this is my pick. His name is Luke Evans. If you don't know the man, he's played many different roles. Gaston is his big Disney claim to fame in the live action
Hobbit,
and the upcoming Gaston and LeFou spin-off series. He's also been in The Hobbit. He's also been in, you know, several other action-y movies. But I think he would play a great, great Dr. Doom. And I think age-wise, he fits the John Krasinski, Reed Richards. And I think vibe-wise, they, again, feel like those two sides of the same coin thing that I think fits perfectly. That's what I have to say about that. And then this is Nat's pick.
I mean,
you're not wrong, girl.
Do I have to say anything else? Just, he has done such amazing work, and oh my God, Mando, like, give him something more to do, and he
has the voice for sure.
He's got the voice. Let's do it. You know,
and he knows how to act more physically behind a mask. Like, that
is very important for a Dr. Doom. Period.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You're gonna be wearing that mask all the time.
You're right. And then Kate's pick. No, hang on. Kate's pick was Pedro Pascal. This was Nat's other pick. Kate
I did also.
I also
had said Pedro Pascal. That's
Pedro
right.
was one of mine. Did you put my other one up there, or is he after now?
I don't know. Do I have another pick from you for Dr. Doom?
I'm hoping not.
I have another pick. Oh no, go ahead, shout him out because I didn't put it.
Okay. So you know, I heard my boy was a follow-up for Captain America, didn't wind up getting it. You know, there was some talk about him joining the MCU and some other titles. I'd love to see my man Jensen Ackles from Supernatural making his way to the MCU, and I'd love to see him as a villain. I know he's going over to The Boys on Amazon, but I really feel like he'll be able to step up and he can join the Marvel Universe, but I'd love to see him in the role as an actual, like, full-fledged villain. I think it'd be great.
That would be amazing. The fact that I didn't think about that, oh my God. No, I feel like
I mean, with Supernatural off of his schedule, he's kind of opening back up. And then Nat, do you want to talk about your second pick here?
All right, since, we're going to talk about Matthew over here. I will say that I think practically Marvel could put anyone under a mask and we would all still probably be impressed. But there's just something about Matthew. Is it the voice? Is it the fact that I want to imagine him in the rest of the suit and not the mask? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's just like my imagination going like, take the helmet off. And then I'd be like, see, there we go. And also, I feel like if Krasinski is to, be included in this, I think they would really do great on a scene. Like,
that's
on
fair.
screen together.
That's
I
fair.
think they would do that.
I buy
Very,
that.
very fair. I can definitely see them together on screen. Yeah.
I'd be like, yes, there it is. Fantastic.
Alrighty, and now our final round is called Pick a Role, where we have a list of actors either rumored to be talking to Feige and Marvel about a role, or people that we would just love to see join the MCU that we've each picked a role for. So starting with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, very recently linked to talks with Marvel, like as in 2 weeks ago kind of thing. And Nat and I both, without talking about it, picked the same person.
We didn't discuss this, but we were like, this is the man for this.
This is the man for our new Cyclops, I think. I love James Marsden in the role in the original X-Men franchise, but I think if anybody's going to take this over, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's a great choice.
Yeah, I agree with you. We both picked him.
Although I think I was being careful not to pick. I was trying not to pick people who could potentially hop over. I think that's more of where I was going from it. But at the same time, I think he'd be a great Cyclops too. I think he'd be a really good fit.
And then these are Caitlin's two choices.
Yes. So I feel like he would be a great Namor or Gambit. Reportedly, it had been rumored that Namor was going to be the villain in Black Panther 2 because of a comment that Okoye made in Endgame when she's debriefing Natasha, and she said something about, an earthquake in the ocean, and Natasha's like, well, what are you gonna do about it? She's like, Nat, it's an earthquake in the ocean.
We do nothing.
We do nothing, except that hints towards Namor, and again, there's nothing in Marvel movies that are there by accident. So I have a feeling that Namor's coming, and I'd love to see JGL in it. I also could very heavily see him in the role of Gambit, but I don't know if it's the right time for him, and that might be something that we don't see till Phase 5.
Yeah, I feel like with X-Men Origins Wolverine failing so hard with Gambit, and then them attempting to do a solo movie with Gambit with Channing Tatum that then also got canned, I feel like Gambit's kind of got a curse on him right now.
It's like, don't touch him for the next, I don't know, 5 years.
Phase 4 is not the time. Phase 5.
Just like push it back, maybe eventually.
And JGL's got the Paul Rudd. He's got that forever young curse.
Yes.
So,
I mean, we love that.
Youth, so I don't think we have to worry about wasting time.
Fair. And actually, Pedro Pascal is one of the ones that we wanted to talk about. So this is my pick. Most people are not going to recognize his picture. So this guy's name is Raoul Bushman, also just known as Bushman. He is one of the main villains for Moon Knight. And I would love to see him play opposite his BFF Oscar Isaac.
That would be so good.
I'm
obsessed with this idea. The two of them in a property together is like my dream.
Let's do it.
And they're also really close friends. And so I think their chemistry on screen together, as Bushman is a former employer of Mark Spector who then betrays him, I think would be such a cool dynamic for them to play on screen.
That would be fun.
And besides Doom, this is
I think Kate's choice.
This is Kate's choice.
Yes, Dr. Doom was one of them because I like I said, I feel like he would do well in that franchise. We haven't seen Galactus, and I'm sorry, it's time. It's time for the Watchers. It's time for all of that to come to a climax, and for those to start to interconnect. And I think that he's got that. If you can just take what you have seen of Galactus in the comics and translate that to a live action, Pedro has what it takes to fit that role. And I feel like he's one of the few people who could step into it, and people aren't going to laugh. People aren't going to sit there and go, that's your villain. People are going to go, oh.
Yeah.
And that's what you want with like, you want people to be in the theater, like Deadpool said, wearing the brown pants and being like just completely both in awe and completely terrified. And I feel like he could pull it off.
You know what? I agree with you. And quite honestly, he could step on me happily.
And then this was Nat's pick, Craven.
I will back you
if
up
not
too.
Momoa, then why not Pedro? Come on, everybody. He's got the vibe. Look at him with that mustache and little bit like, ooh, yes, give me that facial hair. You know, just he also has. I know he has the potential of playing a good villain, and that's clearly proven by the role.
The fact that we all picked villains for
We all
him.
picked villains for him.
And not to sit, not I mean, let's be real. He is one of the, if not the best part of Wonder Woman 1984. I'm just gonna say it. He made any semblance of that movie likable, and I told my husband it is one of the first times I've actually rooted and wanted to see the villain make it through. It was one of the first times I've ever been to a movie, and I'm like, no, I want to see where he goes because he was
Let's
so
see how far he takes it. Let's go.
Yeah, it's like how far
I agree with you, and that's I think why you saw him in the role. He clearly has the potential. I don't think Wonder Woman gave him
enough to work
he
with.
like.
No,
he didn't get enough to work with, and also just. Guys, he's got it. Let's do it. Let's see him in Marvel, and let's see him as a villain.
Yep.
Any choice for him is just
great.
Give him a role, and he will take it and make it his entirely.
Amen. Next up, we have Zac Efron, and Nat and I made the same pick here again. This is another one of those lovely fan art pieces by Boss Logic. Zac Efron is Human Torch to John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic and Emily Blunt's Invisible Woman. I need it in my life. I need it.
Yeah. I could see him as Emily's little brother. I could totally see it.
It would work.
Totally see it. Not my choice, but I can see it.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit, I love Chris Evans. I wish we could have him back. I know no one wants it, but
no,
I want it.
I would love to.
I want the Avengers to interact. Like, I want someone to go like,
yeah,
and then be like, nah, and then he combusts for some reason. Like, magnificent. But
hilarious.
I will admit that I think Zac Efron's got it. He played a similar-ish character in freaking what's the lifeguard movie?
Oh, Baywatch.
Baywatch.
He's got the wit.
He's got the body. Let's do it.
And then Kate's pick, she had two different ones here. So this is Adam Warlock.
Mm-hmm. Which I feel like we got the tease of at the end of, I mean, that's obvious, at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Mm-hmm. I feel like he would just be a natural fit for the role. Again, he's taken on enough serious roles that I think we could take him seriously, but he has enough of that wit that is natural, especially with the Guardians, of taking and making levity out of the heavy action-packed and really kind of dark storylines for these characters, and again, using comedy as levity in order to project the movie forward, because otherwise they'd all just sit there and start crying and they wouldn't be able to do anything about it. So I feel like he could keep up with that cast. And I feel like you would need someone who's got a big enough name to keep up with it. I also feel like it would be an excellent choice for Nova. And I'm so torn between Adam and Nova, but let me put it this way. Either way, I'm happy.
I feel like just throw him in there. Let's do it.
Yeah. Speaking of Baywatch and Zac Efron's co-star, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Nat and I would also agree that we would love to see him as the Thing.
It's for the jokes, everyone. It's for the jokes. Think of the marketing.
The Thing is made of rock.
Think of the marketing. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson plays the Thing.
Like I said, I feel like Dwayne would look at this and he'd be like, "You want me to be the Thing? Yeah, let's make that happen." Like,
he'll do it. Given the role, he'll do it.
Kate's pick, among others,
I think that he'd be good in Juggernaut. I know we got Ryan Reynolds popping in the role in Deadpool 2, but I think that he would be an excellent, if not a very obvious choice for Juggernaut. But I also kind of feel like I need to see this happen. Even if it's for Halloween one year, I need to see him as Juggernaut.
Dwayne, please, just
do it.
Mr. Rock.
Do it. Just do it.
Mr. The Rock, please.
All right, going back a little bit to Janelle Monáe, this is, okay, so this is a different version, a different universe per se. She is the daughter of Bishop here, but I would love to see Bishop in X-Men gender bent to be female, and I think Janelle Monáe has the gravitas to pull that off.
Oh, big time.
And I think she would totally kill it. Bishop is a big time traveler, so we definitely are going to get some of that eventually, I think.
That's going to be great. That's really fantastic.
We already talked a little bit about Nat's pick, Janelle Monáe for Storm.
I don't have to repeat it. You see it, you want it. Marvel, listen to your fans. Come on, just a little.
And then Kate's pick, other than Storm,
is for Cecilia Reyes. So the thing is that she's, I hesitate to say this, it's not that she's not well known. It's that she's not considered what's called an Omega or an Alpha character, meaning she's not in an A-list casting. So I feel like if we're going to be bringing in and broadening the horizons and expanding the universe, I think that this would be a great chance to highlight some of the X-Men who we haven't seen over and over and over again. And I feel like Janelle is a powerhouse enough to bring a more side character in the comics forward and make the audience invested in other people that are also in this universe. So I think that Janelle would kill it as Cecilia.
Next up is Allison Brie, and she was rumored for She-Hulk for a long time, but the role went to Tatiana Maslany. I have her as the female Doc Ock.
I'm for it.
She's terrifying.
I would love
terrifying.
to see female Doc Ock in live action, and I think she would be a great pick for it. Particularly, I mean, she already has the hair, let's be real.
The hair is there, let's do it.
Nat's pick.
Was this my pick? Yes.
Yes, Madam Hydra.
Madam Hydra. Just look at her and tell me that she's not her. You know? Just
fair.
She scares me.
I
don't know about you. Allison Brie, I look at her and I'm kind of afraid. And because of that, I feel like she will take command of Madam Hydra. Like, she will make me scared.
I'm kind of mad I didn't think of that.
And then Kate's pick was an interesting one.
Yes, so I think she'd be a great Hope Summers, aka Antichrist, in the X-Men series. So I feel she has that commanding presence. Mm-hmm. And the thing with Hope is that she's a character that you're both terrified of, but you're rooting for. And I think that she could translate that really, really, really well to the screen.
Definitely.
I agree. That's her in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Millie Bobby Brown, and I've got an off-the-wall pick here. I think she would make a great rogue. I was thinking about this, and while I love the older Morgan Stark idea, and I'm super on board for that realistically, I think she would make a great rogue. There's been rumors about Rogue debuting in a Phase 4 title, possibly Captain Marvel 2, and I think seeing her on screen with Brie Larson, Teyana Paris,
that would be a match made in heaven.
Right. I fully agree. I think she and Brie Larson would have great chemistry, particularly if Rogue plays an adversary initially.
Which is the rumor is that it's X-Men and they're going to initially start off as an apparent villain.
Next up is Nat's pick.
Oh.
All right. So if I could, just
rewind time.
I would probably put her as Cassie Lang. Now, keep in mind, Millie Bobby Brown is very busy, and I do think that she does need a break. She is just doing a lot and wonderful. And that's mostly why I feel like she can't really have such a big role. And I feel like Cassie Lang would have fit her great. However, after Kate mentioned the idea of her as Morgan Stark, I can't unsee it. So
I know it looks and feels right.
I didn't have a great picture to juxtapose, so I don't have her as Morgan Stark up here. But I do have Kate's other pick.
My other pick is Squirrel Girl. So my thing is that there's been a huge pull online for Anna Kendrick to play Squirrel Girl because she, let's be real, IRL would definitely pass as Squirrel Girl. I would not be shocked if I walked through Manhattan and watched her running around with a bushy tail and just eating squirrels. I think she would, but I think she'd be having a ball with it. I think that Millie would be a good younger choice since the role is more of a teenage role in the comics traditionally. Though Anna is very talented and could definitely be passing, I think that it'd be better to invest in a younger actress, and I think that Millie Bobby Brown could step up to that and make her an interesting and multidimensional character while not completely overbearing the screen with her star power. I think that she would just bring extra to the table by not being front and center, but by being a powerhouse to, again, come up behind and make the broader universe more interesting for people who are not as affluent to Marvel Comics. She's been in more of the recent animated series, including Marvel Rising, but she's not as well known as they could be. So I think that, again, they need a more of a star-powered actor or actress in order to fill these type of roles to make people invested.
No, yeah, I agree.
And then last but not least, we have Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Gorgeous woman.
This is Kate's pick.
Yes. I'm sorry. You cannot look at these two and not say, yep.
Yeah.
You just can't. She's part of the Aurora, and her, non-superhero name is Jeanne Marie, and she's just. I feel like she could be that tie-in that we weren't expecting, but we need, and that will help to propel more and more storytelling. I also think that, Stephanie would be a great addition to Marvel in general. She's obviously comedic, having been on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and one of the more delightful characters to have followed throughout the series. She can stand on her own, and she doesn't need support in order to do that. In order to bring a character like Aurora alive, I think that she would be able to nail it in the first try.
I'm going to skip over Nat's real quick and go to my pick. White Tiger. Her name outside of her superhero character is Eva Ayala, and she is one of the most badass Latina heroes that I have seen in Marvel Comics. And I think, again, that would open up kind of another bridge to storytelling, including some of the X-Men that I particularly like that are underrated, including Tigra, including Dazzler, and I think they would make a really cool, maybe even a girl group. Like, I would be down for this.
Hey.
And then I'm going to let Nat fangirl for a hot minute because I know how much she loves Stephanie.
I'm also here for this.
Stephanie can be anyone in the MCU. Anyone. I just step on me. Anyway. I just can't not see her as... Okay, I can see her as multiple roles, but Spider-Woman has been on top of my head since the beginning of this live stream. If you have made it this far, you know I have not stopped thinking about Spider-Woman. She's the reason why. Just do it. Give me something different, Marvel. Give me a little pizzazz. And I just, honestly, just...
She would be queen.
Oh, yeah.
Just 10 out of 10. She could do it, and it would be great.
So that about wraps it up for the casting call, and I think we are going to get Chris back in.
I took a little micro nap and watched you on my TV, and you were all wonderful, and I agreed with everything you said.
We've had some comments. I look forward fully to responding to them later on after the live stream about some various different casting opinions from both my father and from Nat's husband. So
he's in the chat.
I want to hear what opinions have changed and why, and if you have better ones, because I'm always looking for what people feel like is going on, because there might be someone that I'm not paying enough attention to. I need to be looking. I need to be on their Twitter.
I am not a casting director.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Hey, this could be my shining moment. Marvel may see this and be like, Aw, thank you, Steven.
Oh, thank you.
I can't believe
But,
anyone watched this long. That's incredible.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
thank you guys for sticking around.
Yeah, this
honestly.
turned out to be way longer than we expected. We're sorry, but also like we're not sorry at all.
No,
I
no,
think
this is made
discuss
for
it.
Twitch. We're gonna talk later. We'll have to figure something out because this is too good to stop here. This is too good.
Yes.
We may have to do a weekly
Part
like,
2.
WandaVision after show, maybe.
Oh.
I mean, I'll give you my opinions.
We can do a live tweet. We need to do that.
Ooh. Well, we're doing the live tweet of Lady
yeah,
and the Tramp on
so-
Thursday.
I will kind of slide us right into the let the people know where you can find them segment. So, like I said, I'm the co-host of the Defining Disney podcast. This Wednesday, we drop our very first episode of season 2. We are going to be discussing The Lion King, and spoiler alert, it enters the top 3. So y'all better be out there listening. We've also just recently launched our Ko-fi subscription. We're dropping our first bonus content on that service later this month. An interview with Jerusha Cavazos, a Broadway actress and former cast member as well. She was part of Festival of the Lion King, which is the stage version of the show at Animal Kingdom. She was also part of the original Broadway cast of The Prom. She's also a close personal friend of Nicole, my co-host.
What?
So we are very excited to have her for our very first bonus episode on our Ko-fi subscription. It'll be available to Ko-fi members this month in January, and then next month in February it will drop to the public. But then Thursday night, we are doing our next hashtag DDP Watch Night, which all of these lovely people have been a part of in past weeks. This week, we are going to be watching Lady and the Tramp at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Chris Reppel is actually going to be guesting on the episode for Lady and the Tramp. So we're very excited to have him on board. And then Friday night, you can catch me in a completely different role. I'm also the lead gymnastics correspondent for ChompTalk.com, a Florida Gators athletics blog, and I will be live blogging the Florida-Georgia rivalry night on Friday night. So 7 p.m., catch me in front of a television watching the SEC network. My Twitter is down below at My Cluttered Desk. You can also find me at A Cluttered Desk on Instagram, or you can find me at Defining Disney Podcast on Facebook, or I also have a travel agent page, which is Caroline Medley Freeman Travel Pixie. And yeah, I do all the things. It's great.
She does it all.
I didn't know how you remember all that. I was like, oh my god.
I have all the things to plug. It's fine. And I have a day job.
What a wonderful, wonderful woman.
Kate, tell them where they can find you.
Oh, okay. So for me, you can find me at Twitter at Kait of VV. That's KaitOFVV. Sorry about that. I am, like I said earlier, the lead entertainment and news writer for Chip & Co. the blog. You can find us at chipandco.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just put in Chip & Co. You'll find us. I'm also the chief creative officer of my own company, Variant Ventures, who we're looking to build the TTRPG community. And one of the things that we love to do is be able to showcase indie developers and gamers. We do game reviews. We look at different companies that are TTRPG themed and help to gain the exposure for them. We're newer ourselves, but the whole goal is we're trying to create more community outreach so that way we can introduce people like Chris to D&D who never had the time. So we would love to be able to do that for you. And you can check us out at variant-ventures.com. We're also on social media. If you look up Variant Ventures, you'll see us. Twitter, it's Variance Venture. Darn Twitter handles that get taken. But everything else, you should be able just to look up Variant Ventures and you can see what we've been doing. We have a blog. We post 5 times a week, sometimes 6. And we're going to be creating even more content coming soon.
Wow.
Y'all busy.
Yeah, girl, we busy. Tell
Anyways,
people where they can find you, Nat.
you can find me at honeybun_Nat, as it shows underneath. I am going to be starting actually Twitch streaming. So if you want more gaming content and just want to cozy up with a couple snacks and watch me rebuild Duckburg in Animal Crossing. Yes, I'm doing that.
I was gonna tell you. So I saw your Insta post about that earlier, and I was like,
Yes.
it's perfect that you're talking with me and Kate tonight because we also play Animal Crossing. I just got it for Christmas, and we should stream together. It'd be a blast.
That would be fantastic. Oh my god, I would love that. But
I'd watch that.
I have the creation of Duckburg coming up on Twitch and later to be posted on YouTube. You can find me again at honeybun_nat on Twitter and Instagram. I managed to grab them both. So honestly, just watch me create art, create content. Just
she's also drawing something
there
every single day of 2021.
Yes, I am.
She's an amazing artist, and y'all should go follow.
I've decided to do that challenge. So watch me post. I'm gonna actually be posting a bunch of old art that I had gathered up this past few days over at my Instagram, so you can watch me as I create one piece of art every single day for the year 2021.
Yes.
That is impressive.
Here for it.
Chris, tell the people where they can find you.
I'm not nearly as busy as you all, but pretty good. So you could find, I host the podcast Let's Chat with Chris Rebel, which I sit down with people from the worlds of punk rock, podcasting, and pop culture. On top of that, I'm the chief creative officer of Let's Chat Media with Bree, who had popped on earlier, and we are now putting our full force into our new Let's Chat Club, which is a paid membership and then comes with different services. And anyone wants to talk about that, hit us up, because that's actually how Caroline and I met, and one of our club members, and we do a lot of really fun stuff across the internet. And make it easy, Bree, again, who popped on here, made our wonderful website, letschatpodcast.net. Everything right there. And Twitter is at Let's Chat, and Instagram at Let's Chat Rebel. I cannot thank you all enough, and hats off to Caroline, who really picked up this idea and ran with it and made it into something bigger, better, and more beautiful than I ever could have. So,
and thank you all for being here and making this possible. This would be really silly if I were doing it by myself. It's way more fun and way more sane with friends.
It would feel much more Red Stream Theory.
Yes. So,
it would be 10 times worse.
Yeah, it would be. Oh, thank you all so much for joining us. That people even made it to the end. This is it warms our hearts.
Thank you so much.
Have a good rest of your evening, everyone. Let me just hit the end.
Bye, guys.